Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, Superman, sensing great danger to something important to his welfare, calls on his famous friend Batman for aid.
I need your help, Batman. I'm in trouble.
You, Superman, in trouble?
Yes, I'm in serious trouble and great danger. Will you help me?
Well, of course, you know I will. But I don't understand. What's wrong?
Well, someone has discovered my secret.
What do you mean?
Someone has found out that I, Superman, am also Clark Kent.
Stay put, Superman. I'll join you in a few minutes.
You know, gang, often at the zoo, you'll see people pointing at a monkey and laughingly say, "See that little guy over there? Well, he's my 32nd cousin." And even though that is a rather corny and time-worn gag, it seldom fails to get a chuckle out of those within earshot. And yet, it may not be completely a laughing matter. Learned men, particularly the famous Clarence Darwin, have proven, at least to their own satisfaction, that modern man has developed from the monkey. Well, be that as it may, I certainly am not qualified to argue with experts on either side. But I'm kind of inclined to go along with a scientific explanation of the biblical story, which tells us that the world was once peopled by only two human beings, Adam and Eve, who lived in a place described by the Bible as the Garden of Eden, and located by scientists as somewhere in Asia. Now, starting from there, grew the many different people who today populate the earth. And accepting that fact, we must draw the conclusion that all of us, white, yellow, and black, descended from common ancestors who lived in an age long before history began to be chronicled, before the formation of races, religions, and nations. That makes us all what you might call 32nd or 64th cousins. It makes us all brothers under the skin. It proves that all men were created equal, and that no man should suffer the persecution of bigotry and prejudice because, by the will of the Creator, his physical characteristics differ somewhat from yours. For, as the famous Scottish poet Robert Burns puts it, "A man's a man for a' that." So remember always to judge a man by his character and nothing else.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Following his exciting adventure in the underseas kingdom, Superman returns to his apartment in Metropolis, where he lives disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered and bespectacled reporter. But when he entered his apartment, he received the shock of his life. Then, as soon as he could collect his wits, he hastily summoned his close friend, the famous Batman, the only person in the world who was aware of Superman's double identity. And when Batman arrived in his guise of Bruce Wayne, Kent repeated,
Someone has found out that I, Clark Kent, am really Superman.
"What? You're kidding."
Oh, if only I were, Bruce.
Well, who is it?
I don't know. Someone got into my apartment while I was gone and learned my secret.
How could anyone find out you were Superman by merely breaking into your apartment?
Look at that.
Look at what?
See this wall panel? It's set in a track. And when it's closed, like this, there's no way of telling there's a closet behind the panel.
Oh, yes, I remember you telling me about it.
Uh-huh.
You keep a spare Superman costume in there, don't you?
That's right. When I got back here a half hour ago, I found the panel open like this. And my spare Superman costume was gone.
Uh-oh.
That means somebody else besides you and me is aware of my double identity.
Now, wait, Clark. This may not be as bad as you think.
Are you kidding? If this person, whoever he is, doesn't choose to reveal his information but keeps it to himself, I'll never know another comfortable moment. Why, he'll be able to trick me, trap me, drive me crazy.
Granted. But has it occurred to you that maybe this person who got in here may not know you're Superman?
Not know? When he took my costume?
Well, he may have been a sneak thief and not realized what it was.
Oh, nonsense.
He might have thought it was a masquerade costume.
Cut it out, Bruce. You don't believe that any more than I do. Anyhow, it wasn't a sneak thief.
How do you know?
Because nothing else is missing.
Are you sure?
Positive. It was a valuable watch, cufflinks, and a set of pearl evening studs right here in my dresser drawer, and they're still here. Mm-hmm. None of my suits or overcoats were taken from my closet either. So it wasn't any sneak thief. No, it must have been someone who became suspicious somehow that I was Superman, got in here, and proved it to his own satisfaction.
Well, I must admit it does look that way to me, too.
Oh, what do I do, Bruce? I can't call the police because if I tell them my costume is missing, they'll know who I am.
That's right. We've got to handle this ourselves, Clark. And we've got to work fast.
Thanks, Bruce, thanks. I was hoping you'd say that because I really need your help. For once, I don't know where to start. I'm pretty upset.
I know how you feel. Now, look, have you talked to the building superintendent?
No. You think maybe he's the one?
No, but he might have seen somebody loitering around.
That's an idea. Come on, we'll go down and have a talk with Mr. Johnson.
I didn't hear of any robberies in the building while you was away.
Did you notice anything suspicious, Johnson? Anybody loitering around the place?
No, Mr. Wayne. I'd have called the police right off if I did. Something missing from your apartment, Mr. Kent?
Yes, there is.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Did you call the police?
No, I didn't call the police.
Well, I'll call them if you want me to.
No, don't bother.
Well, if there's something stolen...
I'd prefer to just forget the whole thing, Mr. Johnson.
Well, just as you say, Mr. Kent.
Thanks. Come on, Bruce. Let's go back to my apartment. Well, there you are, Bruce. What Johnson told us confirms my suspicion that whoever was here came here to confirm his belief that I am Superman.
Maybe. But let's try it from another angle, Clark. Did you ever before have reason to believe that somebody suspected your double identity?
Yes, there are two people.
Who are they?
One is Herbert Calkins, the Scotland Yard detective who almost proved I was Superman, you remember?
Huh? Oh, yes. I'll never forget that.
Neither will I.
But we definitely convinced him he was wrong, didn't we?
Well, I'm not so sure now.
I am. Rule him out. Who's the other person?
Lois Lane.
Lois Lane? Are you kidding?
Not at all. She almost had the goods on me half a dozen times. I think I've managed to talk or laugh her out of it, but I'm not sure she's completely convinced. Say, wait a minute.
What now?
I just remembered. Jim has a key to my apartment.
Jim Olsen?
Yes. I gave him one last month when I wanted to keep him and Freddie the Midget under cover. Just occurred to me he never returned it.
And you think he might have become suspicious? Let himself in here and found the secret closet?
Well, anything's possible.
Oh, now, look here. I think that's stretching it a bit, don't you?
Oh, confound it, Bruce. I'm so upset. I don't know what to think.
Well, take it easy, John.
But this
is a bad time to get the jitters. Look, I'll give Robin a ring and have him hop up here with our fingerprint outfit. And we'll go over this place and see if we can pick up anything.
Good idea. While you two work here, I'll run over to the Daily Planet.
Want to put Jim on the pan?
Yes, Lois, too, and everybody. I won't be able to rest until I find out who knows my secret and what he's going to do about it. Oh, I'll see you later. Hello, Jim.
What? Leaping lizards. Mr. Kent.
What's the matter? Why the great surprise?
Well, I just... Listen, how'd you get here?
How do you suppose?
Well, you must have flown.
What do you mean, flown?
Oh, gee whiz, there's no other way you could have gotten here so fast.
Why do you say that, Jim?
Well, I called up your apartment before you came in just now. I talked to your friend Bruce Wayne, and he said you'd left just that minute. How could you get all the way over here so fast?
Oh, so that's all it is.
Or what is?
Never mind, skip it.
Well, skip what? How could you get here so fast?
Well, when Bruce said I'd just left, he might have meant that I'd left a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Look, Jim, remember when little Freddie was here, I gave you a key to my apartment?
A key?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Have you still got it?
Well, sure. Well, no, I haven't.
You haven't? Where is it?
Why, let me think.
You didn't lose it, did you?
No, I gave it to somebody.
You gave it to somebody?
Uh-huh, before I went to London to join you and Candy Myers.
Well, why in
I didn't want to risk losing the key, so I gave it to... Let's see now. Oh, yeah.
Tell me, who was it?
Miss Lane.
Lois?
Uh-huh. I told her to keep it for you. She... Say, what's the matter, Mr. Kent? Well, you're white as a sheet, and you're trembling. Are you sick?
I don't feel very well.
Oh, well, here, sit down. I'll get you some water.
No, water won't help me, Jim. I've got to find out. Get it over with.
Find what out? Get what over with?
I've got to see Lois. Here goes.
His shoulders erect, but his face pale. Clark Kent walks across the city room to the office of Lois Lane. What will he learn from her? We'll be back in a moment for the startling climax of today's episode. So keep listening.
I don't have to tell you, gang, that millions of years ago, when early man first left Asia and migrated to the four corners of the globe, the world had a very small population. In fact, there were so few people on Earth that those who settled in one part of the world never knew that human beings existed in other parts. Yet in the beginning, these ancient people, no matter where they lived, had this in common. They all looked very much alike. But as ages of time passed and thousands of years melted away, changes began to take place. People who lived in different parts of the world began to look somewhat different from one another. For one thing, they changed color. Our ancestors who had settled near the hot equator gradually developed a darker skin than those who settled in the north. That helped protect them against the burning sun of the tropics. In the north, men's skin grew lighter, and eventually blue eyes appeared. In Asia, a fold of skin developed over the inner corner of the eye and produced what we call a slanted eye. Soon our ancestors began to identify each other as living in certain places and belonging to certain special groups, which we now call the white, black, and yellow races. And that, gang, is the scientific truth about how the three races of mankind were formed. But never forget that in the beginning, everyone belonged to the same race, the human race. And so all of us today, no matter what our present race, religion, or nationality, are relatives from way back. Don't ever forget that, gang, because it proves that the brotherhood of man isn't just a noble idea. It's a scientific fact.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. Suspecting the worst, Clark Kent has entered the office of Lois Lane, who, as she sees him, swiftly rips a page from her typewriter, slips it under a pile of manuscript on her desk, and looks up, a gleam of triumph in her eyes.
Hello, Clark. What's on your mind?
I'd like to know what's on your mind, Lois.
Why, what makes you think there's anything on my mind?
Well, I can tell.
You can look right through my skull and see.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, now look, what is this, the third degree?
Stop playing games, Lois. I've got to know.
You've got to know what?
If you... well, you're up to something, Lois. I can see it in your face.
Is that so?
Yes. When I came in here, you tore a page out of your typewriter and slipped it under that pile of papers. Now, what were you writing?
Well, it may have been a letter.
Yes, it may have been, but I don't think it was.
You think it was a story?
I do.
A page one story?
Look, Lois, will
Maybe
you
a
stop?
great big scoop for page one? Maybe one of the biggest scoops this paper or any other paper ever had?
Lois, if you don't stop being coy...
Who's being coy? I mean it.
You mean what?
I have got a terrific scoop, Brother Kent, but really terrific.
What is it?
Just wait till you see, Clark. Just wait. It'll not only knock your eyes out, but I can tell you that you'll never be the same again. Never.
Gripping the desk so fiercely that his steel fingers dent the wood, Clark Kent stares into the smiling, triumphant face of Lois Lane. Does the girl reporter know that he, Clark Kent, is Superman? Did she discover the secret closet and the spare costume? And does she now intend to reveal Superman's precious secret to the world? There are thrills and more than one stunning surprise in tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls, so don't miss it. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, same time, same station, for Chapter 2 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, Clark Kent, fearful that girl reporter Lois Lane has discovered that he is Superman, is even more certain when he hears her say,
Just wait until you see my page one story in today's Planet, Clark. It'll knock your eyes out.
What story, Lois?
You'll find out, and I promise you, Clark, after you see it, you'll never be the same again.
You know, gang, there's always one fellow or girl in the neighborhood who's looked up to by all the others. He knows the score, and it's a safe bet that most people look up to such a fella, not so much for what he knows, but for the things he does. His ability to get along with all boys and girls in town, no matter what their race, religion, or nationality. His friendliness and warmth. These are the qualities that set him head and shoulders above everyone else. Well, gang, here are some pointers that might help you become the leader of your neighborhood. They've been tried many times and proven true. Check your own actions against these questions, scoring 1 point for each yes and nothing for each no. Answer honestly. If your total score is 3 or less, then you'd better get on the ball and change your ways. If your total is 4 or 5 points, then you're about average. But if your score is 6 or 7, then, brother, you know the score. Now, here's question number 1. Are you interested in lots of things? For instance, if one of the boys on the block is keen on machinery, can you talk to him about it or listen to him while he explains a special type of machine to you? Or if another fellow is all wrapped up in stamp collecting or chemistry, ever take time out to ask him about it? We know some guys who are interested in sports and absolutely nothing else. Anybody who isn't interested in sports, they call a bookworm. But the guy who knows the score also knows that people are interested in lots of different things. And he should be, too. So question number 1 is, are you interested in many things? Well, think that over. And a little later in the program, we'll give you the other 6 questions. So keep listening.
And now, the adventures of Superman. When Superman returned yesterday to the apartment he occupies as reporter Clark Kent, he received the shock of his life. For there he found that a secret panel which concealed a hidden closet in his bedroom was open, and that a spare Superman costume which he kept there was gone. Realizing that someone beside himself and his friend Batman was now aware of his double identity, Kent summoned Batman to his aid, and then hurried to the Daily Planet to question cub reporter Jimmy Olsen, who had been in possession of a key to his apartment. Jimmy said he had given the key to Lois Lane, and when Kent entered the girl reporter's office, he became convinced that she now possessed his great secret. For Lois, who had almost stumbled on it on several occasions in the past, was now glowing with gleeful triumph.
Oh, brother, have I got you over a barrel, Clark?
You should tell me what you're talking about, Lois.
Oh, not a chance.
Well, maybe I can guess.
You can?
Yes. Before Jim joined me in London, he gave you the key to my apartment, didn't he?
Well, that's right, but what's that got to do?
Now you say that when your story comes out, I'll never be the same again.
Well, yes, but I still don't
Look,
see...
Lois, do me a favor. Please don't publish that story.
What?
Don't turn it in. Tear it up. Forget all about it.
Clark, are you mad?
I was never more sane in my life. Now, I beg you, Lois, don't turn that story in. If you do, it'll do me tremendous harm.
Do you harm?
Yes, I won't be half as valuable. You ought to be able to see that.
Well, if all the gone...
Now, please, Lois, do as I
the
ask.
unmitigated nerve, this takes the cake.
Lois, listen, you see the
Yes,
whole...
I see, all right. You can get scoop after scoop after scoop, and that's okay. Oh, yes, that's fine. Everybody bows down
Look,
to you,
Lois.
the great reporter. But when I get one scoop, I'm supposed to tear it up. It might lower your prestige.
What?
You're the only one around here who's supposed to get scoops.
Hey, wait a minute.
Why, the next thing I know, you'll be objecting to my taking a byline on a story.
No, Lois, look, what I want...
knew you had a swelled head, Clark, but this
Wait a
just
minute,
isn't
wait a
him.
minute.
I
Will you
tell
wait? What is this story you're talking about?
It's about our boss, Perry White, being drafted for the presidential nomination, of course.
Oh, well, of course you... What? Are you kidding?
Of course I'm not kidding.
Perry
I got
White?
the information this morning, and only I got
The
it.
chief?
That the leaders of one of the major political parties have practically decided to draft the chief for the presidential nomination.
Well, I'll be...
He's attracted national attention with his government as a reform mayor of Metropolis, and they think he'll have a chance to be president. And you asked me not to print that story.
Oh, boy, was I way off base.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at?
Oh, and I practically told you, too.
Told me what? Oh, Clark, you make me so furious. Will you please tell me what you're laughing about?
That's right. What am I laughing about?
What?
Because it isn't you. Matter of fact, it might be better if it had been you.
Clark, are you all right?
At least I'd know who it was then, and I know it wasn't a dangerous criminal.
Clark, do you feel quite well?
Frankly, Lois, I never felt worse in my life.
Ah, I knew there was something wrong with you. Now, you just sit right where you are, Clark. I'm going to call a doctor.
Oh, now, don't be silly. A doctor can't help me. I've got to find out... Say, wait a minute. The key. What about the key?
What key?
The key to my apartment, the one Jim left with you. To whom did you give it? Or did you lose it?
I didn't give it to anyone, and I didn't lose it.
Oh, well, then where is it?
It's right here in my desk.
Are you sure?
Certainly. Here it is.
Yes, it's my key, all right. Thanks, Lois.
Clark, what is the matter with you? All this fuss about a key and the strange things that you're saying, they don't make any sense.
Well,
and when I told you the chief might be drafted for the presidency, you just laughed. There must be something wrong with
There's
you.
plenty wrong, Lois, but I can't tell you about it. I'm going back to my apartment now. Batman and Robin might have turned up something.
Batman and Robin? What have they
I've
done?
got to rush. So long, Lois. Batman, I know now that neither Jim nor Lois discovered the secret closet, so they haven't found out who I really am.
You sure of that, Clark?
Positive, but who did? I've got to know. Somebody may be setting a trap for me at this very instant.
Now, take it easy, chum. Robin and I may have turned up something.
No kidding, have you?
Well, we've been dusting your apartment here for fingerprints, you know.
Uh-huh.
Hoping whoever made off with your costume might have left his calling card.
Well, did you find anything?
Well, this could be. We got 3 sets of prints on the panel of your secret closet.
3 sets?
Uh-huh. One is undoubtedly yours, and one could be mine. I remember taking hold of the panel. But there's a 3rd set besides.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get down to police headquarters and see if we can find out who belongs to that 3rd set.
Now, wait a minute. Robin is in there lifting the prints off the panel now. He's an expert at that stuff.
Oh. How you coming, Robin?
Okay, be with you in a sec, Mr. Kent.
Right, hurry it up, will you?
Now, these prints may pay off, Clark, but don't count on it. Because some perfectly innocent person may have touched the panel. The cleaning woman, for instance.
Yeah, I know. But I've got my fingers crossed, Batman.
You and I both.
Here they are, gents. All the pretty little fingerprints.
Oh, swell, Robin. Now, if we're all set...
Come on, let's hop down to police headquarters.
We're
right on 2 sets of prints, Batman. One of them's yours and the other's Kent's.
I was sure of that, Sergeant Healy, but I don't...
What about the 3rd set, Sergeant? Do they match any in your files?
Yeah, give us the answer to the $64 question.
Anderson, our fingerprint expert, is checking on that 3rd set now. He'll call me as soon as he knows.
Oh.
Look, what's this all about?
Well,
It's confidential, Sergeant. Do you mind?
What good would it do me if I did, my Batman? I know you wouldn't open up.
How right you are.
Maybe that's Anderson now, Sergeant.
We'll see. Inspector's office, Sergeant Haley speaking. Oh, yeah, Andy. What do you got?
It's Anderson.
Yeah? Huh? What? Are you sure?
What is it?
Well, the same guy.
What same guy?
Wait, Robin.
That's what I want to know. And I'll find out. Right, Andy. So long.
What did Anderson say, Sergeant?
Did he identify those prints?
I'll say he identified them. And there's something screwy here. Something very screwy.
His face angry and perplexed. Sergeant Healy glares at Clark Kent, Batman, and Robin. What does he mean? And who has been identified as the owner of the mysterious fingerprints found on Kent's secret closet? We'll be back in a moment for the dramatic climax of today's episode. So keep listening.
Well, gang, here are the rest of the questions that will tell you if you know the score. Remember, score 1 point for each honest answer of yes and no point for no. You'll recall that question number 1 was, are you interested in many things? Got your score on that one? Okay, then here's question number 2. Would you stick up for kids smaller than you who are picked on by tough guys? A boy or girl who wants to lead must help to see that no bullies get to first base. Question number 3. Do you respect the right of any boy or girl to worship in whatever church or synagogue he chooses? You should, because whoever looks down on other religions is never looked up to by other Americans. Question number 4. Do you speak up for the things you believe in? Yes, let everyone know just where you stand at all times. A true leader speaks up for what he believes. Question number 5. Are you up on what's happening in the world? You know, gang, the newspapers aren't printed just so that you can deliver them. They're also printed so that you can read them and know what's going on. Question number 6. Do you insist on fair play at all times? And by all times, I mean even the times when you lose. That's true sportsmanship. And here's the jackpot question, number 7. Do you choose your friends only because they're regular Joes without caring what side of the track they live on? That's very important because the fellow who can size up another guy for what he's really worth, who is never blinded by prejudice, is the one others will look up to. Well, boys and girls, there you have it. The 7 questions that are the key to the leadership and popularity. Use them to open the doors of friendship for you, and you'll always be on top.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. At Metropolis Police Headquarters, Sergeant Healy of Inspector Henderson's staff has just received a report on a mysterious set of fingerprints found on the panel of a secret closet in Clark Kent's apartment. Now, glaring at Kent, Batman, and Robin, Healy demands an explanation.
Now, look, you guys, before I do any talking, you've got to come clean with me. Because there's something very screwy here.
What do you mean, Sergeant?
Where did you and Batman get that set of fingerprints, Kent?
Why, I guess we can tell you that. In my apartment.
Your apartment?
That's right. Somebody stole something from the apartment, and we're trying to trace him.
Kent, you didn't report a robbery.
Well, I know I didn't. I just returned to Metropolis today, and when I got to my apartment, I discovered that that I'd been robbed.
That checks, then.
What do you mean?
The guy who left those prints is Willie Snyder. An ex-con who was seen in the alley behind your apartment building just before noon today.
Willie Snyder?
You mean...
Yeah. This Willie Snyder, an ex-con who violated his parole, stopped by Officer Robinson in the alley behind your apartment building, Kent. Just before noon today. He had a bundle rolled up under his arm, which Robinson said looked like a fancy dress get-up of some sort.
That's it, Clark.
What is it?
Never mind, Robin. Well, go on, Sergeant. What happened? Was this man Snyder arrested?
Well, Officer Robinson started to arrest him, but Snyder pulled a gun on him.
Uh-oh.
Robinson went for his own gun, but Snyder shot first. He got Robinson in the leg. Robinson went down, but he emptied his gun into Snyder as the rat was running away.
You mean he killed Snyder?
We don't know. We haven't been able to find him.
What? But you said Robinson emptied his gun into him. How could he
get
away?
Sure he hit him at least twice. But this Snyder must be an Iron Man. He kept on going down the alley, staggering and falling, Robinson says, and he got away.
Christopher Columbus, a man as badly wounded as that couldn't go far.
That's what we figured, Kent. But the shooting happened just before noon. It's past 6 o'clock in the evening now. We've been combing the city, but we haven't been able to find hide nor hair of Willie Snyder.
That, Kent, puts you in one sweet spot. Willie Snyder, a murderous ex-convict who apparently possesses the secret of Superman's double identity, has escaped the police, even though badly wounded. Where is this man? Is he still alive? And if he is, to what purpose will he put his knowledge? We'll find out more about Willie Snyder in tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls, so don't fail to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 3 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men.
And who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, realizing that he is in great danger, Superman makes daring plans with his friend, the famous Batman.
Dead or alive, Batman, we've got to find that man at once. Tonight.
You mean that ex-con Willie Snyder?
Yes. I'm sure he knows I'm Clark Kent. And unless he's prevented from revealing his information, my whole career, my very life, is in danger.
Gang, can you imagine what kind of a crazy world this would be if everybody looked alike? If, for instance, all boys had freckles, bug noses, and red hair, and all girls had pink cheeks, blue eyes, and blonde pigtails? Well, life couldn't be duller, or more confusing for that matter. Why, just suppose that the greatest hero in baseball comes to visit your town. You and the gang rush down to the depot to meet him, and you're right up in front there watching for him and waiting for your hero to step down from the train. Suddenly, you think you see him. You let out a great cheer of welcome. Then you discover it's only the druggist from the next block returning from a trip to the country. But he looks just like the greatest hero in baseball, so how are you to know? Well, the only way you could tell the great baseball hero from any other guy is if he wore a sign that says, Baseball Hero. Well, that's the mess we'd be in if all of us looked alike. We'd all have to wear nameplates for identification. Well, nature has made it much easier for us by giving us lots of differences to spot. Some of us have blonde hair, others red hair, others black, and still others have one of several shades of brown hair. The same goes for eyes and the shapes of our noses. There are blue, brown, gray, and green eyes, and pug noses, straight noses, flat, pointed, hooked, long, short, and uppity other kinds of noses. There are 1,000,001 different things that nature has generously given us so that we can tell each other apart, without the necessity for wearing identification tags. So for giving us different colors, sizes, and shapes, we owe nature a vote of thanks. And now, the adventures of Superman.
Up until now, only one person in all the world, the famous Batman, was aware that Clark Kent, the mild-mannered reporter, and Superman were one and the same person. But now Superman fears that another man, an ex-convict named Willie Snyder, is in possession of his secret. This startling fact was discovered by Superman when, returning to the apartment he occupies as Clark Kent, he found wide open a movable wall panel, behind which he kept a spare costume, and the costume stolen. Batman and Robin discovered Snyder's fingerprints on the panel. A short time later, Sergeant Healy revealed that the ex-convict was intercepted by a police officer in the alley behind Kent's apartment house.
What happened to Snyder when he tangled with a policeman, Sergeant?
Robinson, the police officer, was shot in the leg. But he's sure he hit Snyder at least twice because he heard him scream. Just the same, Snyder got away.
How long ago was this, Sergeant?
Just before noon, Batman.
Well, it's 6:30 now. That means he's been missing over 6 hours.
That's right, Kent. During that time, we've searched every inch of the neighborhood. We looked in all the dives, contacted every doctor in Metropolis. Found neither hide nor hair of the guy.
That's strange. Yes, a wounded man shouldn't be able to get very far.
That's what we figured, too. Somehow, Snyder's managed to give us the slip. So far.
Well, we've got to find him right away.
Don't worry, we'll find him. Old small fry crook can hide out successfully from us for long.
We know that. We've got to find him before he can do some real damage.
What do you mean by that, Batman?
Skip it. Look, you say Snyder violated his parole, so you must have a picture of him.
Sure. Got a wanted notice with his picture on it right here.
Good.
Oh, that's Snyder, eh?
Hey, I've seen this man before.
You have, Clark?
Sure. He was part of a gang I helped to round up a couple of years ago.
You helped round him.
Oh, yes. Superman did that. I covered the story.
That makes more sense.
Slender, middle height, about 155 pounds, squint in left eye, speaks in high nasal whine.
Think you'll recognize him if you see him, Batman?
Leave it to me, Clark.
Let's go, then. We'll check with you later, Sergeant. Eye on that alley entrance, Batman. I stripped down to my Superman outfit.
What are you going to do?
Going back to where Willie Snyder was last seen and look for him there. Where's Robin?
He went for the Batmobile. He'll be here soon.
Well, I can't wait. It's just possible that Snyder is hiding out near the scene of the shooting, waiting for it to get dark and for the police to leave the neighborhood.
Could be. Still alive.
On the chance that he is, I've got to nail him before he makes use of his knowledge that I'm Clark Kent or reveals it to others. Because if that happens, I'm a cooked goose. See you later, Batman.
Right. Robin and I will join you out there.
Okay.
Up, and away!
This is your Daily Planet radio reporter bringing you the 7 o'clock news. Metropolis. Although believed to be seriously wounded, Willie Snyder, the ex-convict who shot a police officer shortly before noon today, has so far managed to escape capture. Inspector Henderson urges all citizens to be on the lookout for Snyder to call the police at once if he is seen. Snyder is 36, dark complected.
Yeah, okay,
155.
You remember Willie Snyder, don't you, Peggy?
Yeah, the dope.
Yeah, only a dope would shoot a cop. Now all the cops is looking for him. Poor Willie had more brains than that.
If he had brains, he wouldn't have gone to the big house. He's a two-time loser, ain't he?
Just once.
Well, even once makes him a jerk.
Boy, I don't know, Peggy. Look at Mike Hickey. He's up to the big house. You gotta admit, he's got brains. Why, he used to run the whole city.
Yeah. And now Perry White's running. White and his punk reform crowd. They're starving us to death.
Yeah, it sure ain't so good no more, is it?
Terrible. White jammed the lid down so tight in this town we're out of business, that's what.
You said it.
Not only that, I can hardly go outside but what some nosy dick from Inspector Henderson's office is looking me over.
Remember how in the old days you could spit in a dick's eye?
Yeah. You know, Chopin, I'd leave Metropolis flat. Only it just ain't so easy to crack another big city.
And another thing, Perry White can't live forever, you know.
Forget that. And life wouldn't be worth a nickel if you're trying to get White. He cleaned up the police force, the DA's office, the courts, everything. I could just think of some angle.
You think of one, Biggie.
Yeah, well, I'd better if I want to stay out of the poorhouse. Look, Chopin, play me something, huh? It helps me to think.
Yeah, sure, Biggie. What'll it be? Boogie?
Boogie or ragtime, I don't care.
Okay, just relax, Biggie. Here comes. That's okay, Biggie?
That's fine. Just keep on playing.
You know me. I can play all day and all night.
You have to gab all the time, too?
Okay, I won't say a word.
That's nice. Now, see who it is, Chopin.
Yes, okay.
Well, hurry up.
Okay, I'm coming.
Tell that fool of yours to stop ringing.
Stop ringing that chiplet. Holy cats. Biggie, look who it is.
Who? What the?
Willie Snyder, that's who it is. It's Willie Snyder.
Startled, the men called Biggie and Chopin stare at Willie Snyder, who, ghastly pale and panting, supports himself against the door frame, clutching a blood-stained blue and red garment under his arm. This is what Superman feared. Now, what will happen? We'll be back in a moment for the dynamic climax of today's episode. So keep listening.
You've often heard people say that variety is the spice of life, and it's true. Because variety peps things up and adds a dash of the unexpected into our everyday living. Now, earlier in this program, we let our imaginations fly as we pictured what it would be like if we all looked exactly the same. Well, we found it would be very dull and very confusing. Well, our nation is lucky enough to have the spice of life. Yes, sir, if any country has variety, we do. We have religions of every sort, skin colors of every shade, ancestries of every kind, and our country is the richer for it. We have restaurants here that serve every possible type of food. We have churches and synagogues of every kind and denomination. And many of us often go to churches different from our own to watch their ceremony. For instance, when the Jewish holiday of Passover comes around, Christian neighbors often visit at the synagogues where services are being held. In that way, we get to know how others worship the same God, and so understand them better. Well, you know, gang, that's a treat that very few boys and girls in other parts of the world ever enjoy. They aren't lucky enough to have the wide mixture of peoples in their countries that we have here, and their countries are the worse for it. So, gang, just remember that it's the differences between people that makes life in America richer and more interesting. Just as we wouldn't all want to look alike or dress alike, so we wouldn't want Americans to be all of one religion or one race or one nationality. We'd be missing too much fun, and we probably wouldn't be the strong, rich nation that we are. Let's learn to appreciate that fact.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. Willie Snyder, the ex-convict who left his fingerprints in Superman's apartment, has appeared badly wounded at the door of Biggie Conroy, a racketeer chieftain, and his henchman, a piano player whom he calls Chopin. After dragging the wounded man into his home, Conroy asks,
"What are you doing here, Snyder?"
I gotta see you, Biggie. I got something big. Yeah, what is it, Willie?
Shut up, Chopin. Now, look, Snyder, you gotta get out of here. You're hot. Every cop in town is looking for you.
I know, but you gotta listen.
No,
Biggie.
beat it. I got enough trouble without you jamming me up with the cops. Go on, I'll scram.
No, listen.
Throw him out, Chopin.
Oh, wait a minute, will you, Biggie? He's hurt bad.
Well, what do I care? Mayor White and Inspector Henderson have been breaking their necks to get something on me. Now, if this jerk is found here, I'm a dead duck.
But, Biggie, you gotta listen. Biggie's right, Willie. Come on, shove off. Look, what I got is worth millions. Millions.
You're out of your head. Now, beat it now, Len.
Please, Biggie.
Wait. That bundle of rags you're holding on to, Snyder?
That's Superman's costume.
That's what?
Superman's costume?
Yeah, I...
Holy smoke.
Are you kidding me, Snyder?
No, sir, help me.
Where'd you get it?
I got it from his apartment.
Lifted it, huh?
Yeah. Now I know who Superman really is.
You do?
Yeah. I know his other name. The guy he makes out to be ain't Superman. He must be out of his head.
Wait, Chopin. This on the level, Snyder?
No, sir, help me. Let me stay here and I'll make it deal. He's going under.
Catch him, Chopin.
I got him. He passed out.
Put him on the couch.
Okay. See if we should think that's straight. What he told us, Biggie.
It must be. I know that Superman's costume he's got. Wait here. I'll get Doc right over.
You better tell him to hurry. Willie looks awful bad.
Yeah, that Doc will save him. He's got to. This is the break of a lifetime, Chopin. The break that'll make it possible for us to get away with murder.
his voice trembling with lustful greed, Biggie Conroy, racket boss of Metropolis during the regime of the corrupt Mike Hickey, summons his physician to care for the wounded and unconscious Willie Snyder, who, possessed of Superman's costume, says he knows the Man of Steel's other identity. Superman's great fear that his double identity will become known to the underworld may come to pass now, as he, Batman, and Robin, and the police search desperately for the ex-convict. What will happen? Surprising and thrilling things happen on Monday, fellows and girls, so don't fail to listen. Be sure to tune in again on Monday, same time, same station, for Chapter 4 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, while Superman searches desperately for him, ex-convict Willie Snyder lies unconscious in the house of Biggie Conroy, boss racketeer.
You think Doc can pull Snyder through, Biggie?
He's gotta, Chopin. Snyder knows who Superman is. Gotta get that out of him.
You really believe he knows that, huh?
Brought us Superman's costume, didn't he?
Yeah, but...
So I'm sure he knows Superman's other identity. And when he tells us, there will be nothing we can't have. The sky's the limit.
Hi, gang. Feel something different in the air today? Something that was very definitely there, and yet on which you found it impossible to put your finger. Well, let me tell you what it was. It was the first faint beginning of spring. Sort of an advance announcement that spring is just around the corner. And that funny feeling you had was a little foretaste of what is commonly known as spring fever. Now, that isn't a sickness, so it's nothing to be alarmed about. As a matter of fact, after the kind of winter we've gone through, I think everyone will agree it's something to look forward to with pleasure. But I'm a great guy for buts. I've got to warn you that what you felt today and what you will feel in the next few weeks can lead to unpleasant things if you're not careful. For instance, this time of the year is just Jim dandy for cold bugs. This is the time when they get their hooks on you. And when you are careless about dressing properly, by that I mean shedding most of your warm clothes too soon, the old cold bug has himself a good time. He chuckles to himself, gets a good grip, and when you least expect it, lets fly with his special brand of poison. First thing you know, your head aches, your nose runs, your eyes feel heavy, and then, plunk, you're in bed with a bad cold, which, as most of you know, is certainly no fun. And if you've ever had a spring cold before, you know how hard they are to get rid of. They seem to hang on and on, sometimes staying with you right into the summer. So the smart thing to do is to avoid a spring-type cold. And a little later, I'll give you some simple rules that will help you do just that. So keep listening.
And now, the adventures of Superman.
When his spare Superman costume was stolen from a secret closet in the apartment he occupies as reporter Clark Kent, Superman realized that now someone other than himself and his friend Batman is aware of his double identity. Then fingerprints of an ex-convict named Willie Snyder were found on the panel of the secret closet, and the police revealed that Snyder had shot and wounded a police officer that day in the alley behind Kent's apartment house. But although seriously wounded, Snyder had managed to escape. Unaware that the ex-convict had made his way to the house of a prominent racketeer called Biggie Conroy, Superman has led Batman into an abandoned, boarded-up brick fire station, facing on the dark alley, several blocks from Kent's apartment house.
I think this is where Willie Snyder hid out, Batman.
You mean in this old fire station?
Uh-huh. Must have waited until it got dark.
Impossible, Superman. The police combed the neighborhood. They couldn't have missed this place.
Well, I don't say they did. But they missed our convict friend who was hiding out here. Look, under this manhole cover.
What's in there?
Shine your flashlight into this sewer and you'll see.
Uh-oh. That blood on the walls of the sewer?
That's right. Willie Snyder was wounded, you know.
Yeah, I think I get it now.
It's obvious. Snyder figured the police wouldn't think to look for him in the sewer, so he hid in here until the police had come and gone and stayed there till it got dark. Then he beat it.
Could be, but...
Wait. What are you looking for, Batman?
There are no blood stains out here on the floor. How do you figure that?
Well, he had my costume, you know. He could have stopped up his wounds with that.
Yeah, suppose so. Where did he go from here?
That's what I want to know. Couldn't have left more than an hour ago. It's only been dark that long.
He couldn't have walked very far, hurt as badly as the police say he was.
No. Wait, Batman.
Now what?
Shine your light down here beside the manhole.
What, like this?
No, a little farther to right. That's it. Now, see that footprint?
Not too well.
What's the matter with your eyes? Look, I can even see that the man who made that footprint had a hole in the bottom of his shoe.
Well, I haven't Superman eyes, but if you say so.
Clear as day to me. Assuming that police officers don't have holes in their shoes, chances are these footprints are Willie Snyder's. And look, They lead right out the door.
You think you can follow them?
That's what I'm hoping.
Well, come on.
Yeah, wait till I put this manhole cover back in place. All right, let's go, Batman.
I'm right with you. Wait, I'll open the door.
Okay, thanks.
Still see those footprints?
Uh-huh. They go right up the alley. What the? Thunder. Storm's coming. We'll have to work fast, Batman, before the rain washes out the tracks. Where's Robin?
The police headquarters, waiting for my call.
There's no time to call him now. Up with you.
All set, Superman. Let her rip.
Uh-oh. Really pouring now. Hang on, Batman. Here we go. Up, up, and away! Well, we're stuck now, Batman. And rain's washed out all the tracks.
Yeah, what a break. What do we do now, Superman?
Well, we've come about a half a mile. Snyder stayed on foot. He can't be far away. Let's search this neighborhood thoroughly and see if we can
Now,
make
wait.
him straight.
He may have picked up a ride, you know.
Oh, I know, and if he did, it's going to be tough to find him because he'd make for some underworld hideout. But still,
Look, this is where Robin and I can be very helpful because we know our way around the dives and the low spots of this town, you know.
Yes, that's a good idea, Batman. Suppose you and Robin go to work on that angle, and I'll have a look-see from the air.
Check.
We must find Snyder before he talks, or it's going to be too bad for me.
We'll do our best. Where can we contact him?
My apartment or the Daily Planet. Ask for Clark Kent, of course.
Naturally. Well, I'm off to get Robin. Good luck, Superman.
This is one time I need it. So long, Batman. Up, up, and away!
How is it with Snyder, Doc?
He's in bad shape, Biggie. Under the circumstances, I doubt if he'll last beyond the night.
Oh, I told you he's got to live. Long enough to tell me what I want to know, anyhow.
Now, that's easy to say, Biggie, but...
Don't give me any buts. This guy knows something will be worth millions to me. Millions.
But you don't understand, Biggie. Snyder was shot twice. I've extracted one of the bullets, but the other one penetrated a lung and is lodged near the heart.
Oh, get it out.
It's not that simple. It requires a very delicate operation. It should be done in a hospital.
You've done plenty of operations and not in hospitals either.
Yes, but I've never performed an operation of this sort. Very few surgeons have. Anyhow, I tell you that unless I work on him in a hospital, he won't stand a chance.
How can we take him to a hospital? You know he shot a cop. The whole police force is looking for him.
I know.
In the old days, it would have been easy. We could take over a whole hospital if we wanted to. Since Perry White got to be mayor, we can't do a thing.
Well, in that case, I'm afraid I can't help you.
Don't give me that, you stupid crook. Do you realize I got enough on you to have you sent up for life?
Look, Biggie, it won't do any good to threaten me. I can't perform miracles, you know.
You're gonna perform one tonight.
Now, look.
White and his reform crowd put me out of business, but now I got a chance to come back. To make more dough than you or I ever dreamed about. If you think I'm gonna lose that chance on account of you, you're crazy. Now go in there and get that bullet out of Snyder's heart or whatever it is.
I tell you, Biggie, I can't. It's too much of a job for me. As a matter of fact, I doubt that anybody in Metropolis could do it except Bushmill.
Who?
Dr. Asa Bushmill. He's the famous surgeon who perfected a new technique in this type of operation. But I wouldn't have a chance, especially without a trained anesthetist and nurses. You see, Snyder's very weak. Gave him plasma.
Wait a minute. This guy Bushmill worried.
At his home, I suppose, or the hospital. Why? Oh, if you're thinking of getting Dr. Bushmill to operate on Snyder, forget it. In the first place, you said yourself you don't dare take him to a hospital.
Shut up.
What are you doing, Biggie?
Looking up Bushmill's phone number.
What for?
Here we have physician.
What's the idea? You know you can't take Snyder to a hospital.
Yeah, I know.
You certainly don't think Bushmill would agree to come here to operate, and on a man wanted by the police at that.
Yeah, I know that, too. It is Bushmill, Doctor.
Well, then why are you...
I want to have a talk with a guy.
I don't get it. Why are you calling him?
You find out. Hello. Is Dr. Asa Bushmill there, please? I got to talk to him. It's an emergency.
What is Biggie Conroy's plan? We'll be back in a moment to find out in the 10th climax of today's episode. So keep listening.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, someone once said. And believe me, gang, no truer words were ever spoken. Because when you can prevent something from happening, you are much happier than trying to cure it after it hits you. And that goes for colds, the commonest of all illnesses and one of the most unpleasant. As I told you before, this is the time of year when colds are most prevalent, mostly because folks have a tendency to become careless on account of the first glimmerings of spring fool them into thinking summer is here. Now, if you want to avoid a nasty cold, don't let yourself be fooled. Also, remember these simple rules. Be careful of the clothes you wear. This is not yet the time for a switch to light summer clothes. Avoid getting overheated. When you permit yourself to become damp or wet with perspiration, you are laying yourself wide open to the cold germs. Keep out of drafts, for drafts are the cold germs' most powerful allies. Eat well, but sensibly, because an upset stomach at this time of the year makes you susceptible to colds. Get plenty of sleep and rest, for these are the greatest enemies of the cold bug. Above all else, do as Mother tells you to do, because she knows best. And if you should feel a little out of sorts or discover that you have the sniffles, tell Mother about it right away. Get into bed when she tells you to, because spending one day in bed may save you from spending a whole week in the house. Be smart. Be sensible. Concentrate your efforts on prevention, and a cure will then be unnecessary.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. It is shortly after 9 p.m. when Dr. Asa Bushmill, the famous surgeon, leaves the Metropolis Hospital and walks down the broad flight of stairs to the street. He is a little weary from a long day and evening in the operating room, and his thin, usually erect shoulders are stooped a bit as he crosses the street and opens the door of his car, which is parked at the curb. But as he starts to step into his car, he suddenly stops. For sitting at the wheel is a thin, lantern-jawed man with a head shaped like an egg.
Why, what on... Get in, Doc. Who are you? I'm your new chauffeur. Come on, get in, I said. Now, look here, I don't know what this means, but Easy, Doc. There's another guy right behind. That's the gun you feel in your back. A gun? Yeah, gun. Now get in the car, Doc. Hurry up. Sit down and don't yell. I got an itchy trigger finger. Okay, Joe Pan, get going. See here, I don't understand. Where are you taking me? To see a new patient. A patient?
Yeah. A guy whose name is Willie Snyder.
Helpless, Dr. Bushmill sits between Biggie Conroy's two henchmen and is carried off into the night. Will the famous surgeon operate on Willie Snyder, the ex-convict? And will he save his life so that Snyder will be able to reveal the secret of Superman's double identity to the racketeer? There's a thrill a minute in tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls. So be sure to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 5 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom X and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
Today, the secret of Superman's double identity moves closer to exposure as Biggie Conroy, the racket boss, delivers an ultimatum to a famous surgeon.
Get this, Dr. Bushmill. That wounded guy in the next room knows something I want to know. See? You gotta save his life so he can tell me.
Now, you listen to me, Mr.
Conroy's your name, Doctor. Biggie Conroy, and you're listening to me. I warn you, don't let Willie Snyder die, because if you do, you'll die too.
Gang, is there a little death trap in your home? I'm not kidding. I mean that seriously. And before I'm through with what I have to tell you, the meaning of that startling question will be perfectly clear. The reason I ask that question, for which incidentally the answer is always yes, is that there are more accident hazards found in the average home than anywhere else. Statistics show that on an average, 88 men, women, and children are killed, and 360 are permanently maimed or disfigured, while 12,640 are variously injured or temporarily disabled, all as a result of accidents that happen in the home. That should demonstrate to you that home disasters, which account for half the fearful toll of all accidents, are the most dreaded enemy to our well-being. And another appalling fact is that although some accidents are admittedly unavoidable, most of them can and should be prevented. Yes, in a majority of instances, the simple application of common sense could have prevented accidents that resulted in near death. Doesn't it make you wonder how it can be possible for terrible things to happen where you most expect to be safe in your home? But when you think about it, you'll begin to realize that yesterday or last week or even today, you or someone in your house narrowly missed being hurt by something that happened in your house. Why, a simple thing like a loose rug can take more lives and maim more limbs than a military booby trap. Stay with us, and in just a little while, I'll tell you more about this.
And now, the adventures of Superman. When Superman discovered that an ex-convict named Willie Snyder had made off with a spare costume from the apartment he occupies as Clark Kent, he hurriedly summoned his friend, the famous Batman, and told him...
This can mean only one thing, Batman. That now somebody else besides you and I knows the secret of my double identity. And unless we can prevent him from revealing my secret to the underworld, my service to humanity, my very life, may be ended.
Upon investigation, Superman and Batman learned that Willie Snyder had been seriously wounded in a gun battle with a police officer, but had escaped. Then they traced him to an abandoned building, but there lost his trail. Meanwhile, as they, the police, and Robin, Batman's young companion, searched desperately for Snyder, the ex-convict made his way to the home of Biggie Conroy, a big-time racket boss. Then, when Conroy's doctor told the racketeer that only one man, a famous surgeon named Dr. Bushmill, might be able to save Snyder's life, Conroy gave orders for Dr. Bushmill to be abducted. And now, the outraged surgeon stands before the lumbering, hulking racketeer.
Look, Dr. Bushmill, there's a guy here with a bullet near his heart. I understand you're the only man who could get it out and save the guy's life, so get busy.
You must be out of your mind, Conroy. You think you can bring me here at gunpoint and then expect me to operate on a man wanted by the police? Man who I'm told shot a police officer.
Be smart, Doctor. Do like I say, and nothing will happen to you.
You must be mad if you think you can get away with anything like this. I advise you to call the police at once and have them pick this man up. They'll take him to the city hospital where he'll get proper medical attention.
But, Doctor, if the police knew Snyder was here, I'd get in trouble, see?
I don't care anything about
that. I care. I care a lot, see? Besides, and this is most important, Snyder knows something I want very much for him to tell me. And he can't tell me.
I refuse to be a party to this. Now, I'm going to call the police right now.
Put down that phone.
Nothing doing.
Chopin, show Dr. Bushmill your gun.
Yes, sure. Look, Doc. Pretty, ain't it? You wouldn't dare shoot me.
Don't be a sucker, Doc. Better hang up that phone.
No. Now you're showing some sense, Doc.
Okay, don't waste any more time. Go on in and operate on Snyder.
No, I won't do it. It's against the law for me to operate on this man.
Don't worry, Doc. We won't turn you in.
Besides, it's impossible for me to operate here. I haven't the proper equipment or an anesthetist.
The boys brought your medical bag along, and Doc Crandall, the guy who's in there with Snyder now, he'll give you a hand. Now stop wasting time.
Yeah, my trigger finger's getting very itchy.
But Oh, very well.
Good. Now remember, don't let Snyder die. Because if you do, you'll die too. Now get going.
Hello, Lois.
Oh, hello, Chief. I'm so glad you came over.
What's the idea of calling me away from City Hall?
Well, you see, Chief...
You and Kent and the rest of the staff run the Daily Planet without bothering me every 5 minutes?
It isn't about the paper that I called you.
In case you've forgotten, I'm the mayor now. That's a big job. Keeps me plenty busy.
I know you're busy, Chief, and I'm busy, too, but I'm worried. I don't know what to do, and you've got to help me.
Well, why, of course, Lois. I'll have to. Now, what's gone wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me. It's Clark.
Kent?
Yes, he's been acting very strangely, Chief.
Well, that's nothing new for Kent. Always disappearing, heaven knows where, never explaining,
no, it
never
isn't that. He's been acting so nervous.
Nervous?
Yes, he jumps at the slightest sound. He says things that don't make any sense, and, well, I think that he is scared to death.
Scared? Of what?
I don't know, and he won't tell me. Of course, I know Clark isn't what you'd call exactly brave, but he didn't used to jump like this when he saw his own shadow.
Well, maybe he's working too hard, or maybe he's a little under the weather.
I asked him if he was sick.
Well?
He said he never felt worse in his life, but when I wanted to call a doctor, he wouldn't let me. He said a doctor couldn't help his trouble.
Well, what does that mean?
I don't know. That's why I'm worried, Chief. So Jim Olsen and I talked it over, and we decided I ought to call you.
I'm glad you did. I'll see Kent, and I'll tell...
Listen, Lois, did Bat...
Oh, hello, Clark.
Hello,
How
Chief.
strange he looks, Chief. Look at him.
How are you, Kent?
Okay, I guess. Listen, Lois, have you heard from Batman?
Batman? Why, no.
Oh, hang it.
Well, what's the matter now?
Why should Batman call you?
Oh, no reason, I guess. Or he would have called.
Huh?
What kind of double talk is that?
What about Inspector Henderson? Did he call?
Why, no.
Oh, he promised to let me know at once if he picked up Willie Snyder.
Willie Snyder?
You mean that ex-convict who shot the police officer?
Yes, but unless I find him and fast, my name will be mud.
What's this?
What do you mean, Clark?
Snyder knows who I am.
What?
What?
I said Snyder knows... What am I saying?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
As if everybody didn't know who I am.
You see, Chief?
Yes. Now, look, Kent, you've been working pretty hard. Now, how would you like to take a little vacation?
Vacation? If I get a break, I may be taking a permanent vacation.
Now, what kind of talk is that,
Now,
Clark?
look, Kent, how would you like to go down to Florida for a few weeks? All expenses paid, of course.
How can I, Chief?
Or how about the North Woods, Clark? You've always liked the outdoors.
Don't be ridiculous. I have... I'll get it.
No, wait a minute. That's my phone,
Maybe
Clark.
for me. Clark Kent speaking. Oh, yes, Farber. What do you know?
Who's Farber?
Harry Farber, our new police reporter.
Oh.
Is that so? Well, hold on. I'll have the operator connect you with the city... Say, wait a minute. Did you say Dr. Asa Bushmill, the famous surgeon?
Dr. Bushmill?
What about him?
It is, eh? Well, look, Harry, wait there for me. I'll be down at once.
What is it, Clark?
What about Dr. Bushmill?
Someone saw him being forced into a car at gunpoint by two thugs.
What?
Good heavens.
Might be a hot lead.
Lead
What do
to
you
what?
mean?
You know, Willie Snyder was badly wounded before he disappeared.
That's right.
It could just be that he holed up someplace in the underworld and that it was his pals who grabbed Dr. Bushmill in an effort to save his life.
But, Kent, listen.
No
now you
time now. I'm going out to track this down.
Rushing out of Lois Lane's office, Clark Kent is soon on his way to the Metropolis Hospital as Superman. Kent has made a correct deduction, but will he be able to trace Dr. Bushmill to Willie Snyder? We'll be back in a moment for the tense climax of today's episode, so keep listening.
Gang, I'm not here to frighten you. My only purpose in telling you about accidents in the home is to put you on the alert against them, and if possible, to help you prevent having them happen to you. A little while ago, I told you that loose throw rugs on the floor are a menace, and I mean that. But accidents due to loose rugs can be prevented simply by coating the underside of them with a slip-proof material, or better yet, by tacking them down. Bathrooms are accident hazards, too, if you're not wary. Be very careful when you climb in or out of your tub. Play safe by putting a rubber mat in the bottom of the tub. Don't lean against windows or window screens. Some terrible falls have resulted from such carelessness. The same thing goes for stair rails and porch railings, because often an invisible dry rot has weakened the supports. Next to falls, the worst killer in the home is fire. Avoid the use of matches, and don't play with the electrical wiring in your house. Another important thing to remember is never, and I mean never, touch any medicines unless they are administered by an adult, because many violent sicknesses and even deaths result from taking internally something that seems to be the right thing, but turns out to be poisonous. Here's something else. Keep away from, don't touch firearms that may be found in your home. More than 100 people die every year as a result of I didn't know it was loaded kind of accidents. So don't forget, be smart, play safe, so that you may remain alive and healthy.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. His fine, distinguished face looking haggard, Dr. Asa Bushmill has just emerged from a room in the house of Biggie Conroy, the racketeer chieftain. Wearily, the famous surgeon enters the living room, where Conroy is seated in an easy chair as he listens to the music played on a piano by his henchman Chopin. As the doctor comes into the room, Conroy stands for a moment. He stares at the physician. Then, with a sharp wave of his hand, he barks an order.
Hold it, Chopin. Well, how'd it go, Dr. Bushmill? Yeah, how's Willie? Will he live?
I don't think so.
Huh? What? Now, look here, Doc, I warned
Save
you
your
that you...
breath, Mr. Conroy. Even though you forced me to come here, I am, first of all, a physician with a duty to my fellow man.
So what does that mean?
Means that I did my very best to save him.
Why do you say he won't live?
Because the operation was delayed too long. The bullet had penetrated the heart
I
wall.
don't care about that. I say the guy has got to live.
I've done everything I could.
Well, you got to do more. He must live long enough to tell me something I must know.
Sorry. Told you I've done my best.
Look, Doctor, maybe you can do something that'll bring him around for a minute or two, just long enough so he can talk. I'll pay you big dough if you can. Big dough.
Your money doesn't interest me any more than your threats, Mr. Conroy. But I think the patient will probably regain consciousness before the end.
Yeah?
Due to the stimulant I gave him. However, I forbid you to question him.
Are you kidding?
Definitely not. I forbid
Oh,
you.
yeah? I'd just like to see you stop me. Keep your eye on this guy, Chopin. I'm going to go sit by Willie until he comes to.
Brushing Dr. Bushmill aside with one contemptuous sweep of his huge arm, Biggie Conroy walks into the room where Willie Snyder, ex-convict, lies unconscious. Will Snyder reveal the secret of Superman's double identity to the racketeer before he dies? And what of Superman, who is now at Metropolis Hospital, where he hopes to pick up the abducted Dr. Bushmill's trail? What success will he have? Tomorrow's episode is packed with thrills, action, and surprises, fellows and girls. So be sure to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 6 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, the racketeer boss, Biggie Conroy, smiles with anticipation
as Willie Snyder, the ex-convict who discovered Superman's great secret, begins to regain consciousness.
Doc, look. He's opening his eyes.
Yeah, he's coming to.
Can I ask him now who Superman is?
Well, not just yet, but in another minute he should be able to tell you.
I sure hope you're right, Doc. I sure hope you're right.
Gang, I'm sure all of us at one time or another have played the sucker by making snap judgments, such as, for instance, in sizing up new acquaintances. We take a quick look, maybe say hello and goodbye, and then think we know all about the fellow we just met. Well, it just doesn't work that way. That experience will teach you, if you haven't already found out, that you can't rely on snap judgments to tell you much about anybody. Now, suppose I decided I couldn't stand the guy who moved in next door. Why? Well, because his tie was horrible, let's say. So I didn't say more than hello and pleased to meet you, and went away convinced that that was all I'd ever want to say to the guy. Well, then, strange as it may seem, in a couple of weeks we became real pals. The new neighbor turned out to be a swell guy, and I found out that the tie I so thoroughly disliked was a Christmas present from his Aunt Dora, and had to wear it at the time I saw it. Now, see how foolish I look to myself? Well, that shows that prejudging a man before you ever really get to know him is senseless. And another word for prejudging is prejudice. Both words mean that you've made up your mind in advance whether you will or will not like a person. So they're both senseless. But some people have more dangerous prejudices. They decide in advance that they won't like a fellow because of the color of his skin or his religion or the country his grandfather came from. They never really get to know the guy. Does that make sense? Certainly not. Because in the end, prejudice makes you lose out. For if you don't give the boy and girl a chance to prove what kind of people they really are, you wind up missing some very fine friendships with some very swell people. It's as simple as that.
And now, the adventures of Superman. While Superman, together with his friends Batman and Robin, helped the Metropolis police search for Willie Snyder, a wounded ex-convict who had stumbled on the secret that Superman and newspaper reporter Clark Kent were one and the same person, Snyder made his way to the house of racketeer boss Biggie Conroy, where he collapsed. Aware that Snyder held valuable information, Conroy ordered his henchmen to abduct Dr. Asa Bushmill, and then forced the famous surgeon to operate on the ex-convict in an attempt to save his life. The surgeon held out little hope for Snyder's recovery, but said he would regain consciousness briefly before the end. Meanwhile, learning that Dr. Bushmill had been abducted from the Metropolis Hospital, Superman streaked there, and secretly resuming his disguise of reporter Clark Kent, was admitted to the hospital superintendent's office, where he joins Police Inspector Henderson in questioning an orderly named Green.
Now, Green, you say you saw two men push Dr. Bushmill into a car?
That's right, Inspector. I was just coming to work when I saw these two fellows grab Dr. Bushmill and push him into a car. It was right across the street from the hospital. Are you sure it was Dr. Bushmill? I'm positive, Mr. Kent. I was only about 50 feet away, and I saw him under a street lamp for a minute before these men grabbed him.
Well, didn't you call out or something?
Well, sure I did, but first I was too stunned to do anything. Then I yelled and ran after the car, but it got away. Well, tell me, did you get a look at the two men? Well, not much of a look. It was kind of dark near the car, but one of them was pretty big, I think.
That's a great help.
Look, Mr. Green, you said you ran after the car. Did you notice what kind of a car it was? It was a sedan, I think. Blue or black, I'm not sure.
You're not sure. That's just dandy.
But I got the license number.
You did? Well, why didn't you say so?
Well, I was going to.
All right. Just give me the number.
A minute, I wrote it down on this piece of paper.
Height's sake, man, let's have it.
Here it is. L16880.
Here, give me that paper.
Yes, that was good work, Mr. Green. Thanks.
You bet it was. Thanks a lot, Green.
You're welcome. I hope that helps you find Dr. Bushmill. So do I.
Come on, Kent. We'll hop down to headquarters and trace this license number. You'll have the name of the owner of that car right away, Kent.
I wish he'd hurry. Time's important.
You know, I can't figure this one out. Dr. Bushmill is a big shot, but he's far from wealthy. So why should anybody snatch him?
I got a hunch about that, Inspector.
You and your hunches. All right, go ahead. Fill it.
I think Dr. Bushmill may have been taken away to treat Willie Snyder.
You mean that ex-con who shot an officer last night?
Right. Officer Robinson is sure he put at least 2 bullets into Snyder.
So what?
My guess is the wounded crook made his way to the hideout of some gang who grabbed Dr. Bushmill, one of the best surgeons in the country, to try to save him.
Are you kidding?
Certainly not.
Oh, boy, what a wild, cockeyed hunch that is.
Why?
Because why should anybody, even a gangster, take a chance like that for a small-time rat like Snyder? Abduction carries the death penalty in this state, you know.
Yes, but if Snyder offered to make a deal, well, a criminal might figure it was worth the risk if he could find out what Snyder knows.
What do you mean? What does Snyder know?
Huh? Well, he came into possession of a very valuable secret yesterday. One that would be worth a great deal of money in the underworld and elsewhere, too.
What in the world are you talking about? What secret?
That I can't tell you.
What do you mean you can't tell me?
I'm sorry, Inspector. I can't. Besides, it won't help you a bit. Honest, it won't.
Now, don't get... Hey, wait a minute.
What?
I just remembered that you told Sergeant Healy Snyder stole something from you, and that his fingerprints were found in your apartment. Isn't that right?
Why, yes.
Well, what did he steal?
That, Inspector, is what I can't tell you.
Now, you listen to me, Kent. If you think that you... Just a minute. Don't go away.
I have no intention of going away yet. That may be Sergeant Healy.
Inspector Henderson speaking. Yes, Healy. Did you check that number? Uh-huh. What's that? Uh-oh. Well, I'll be... Are you sure, Healy? You are, huh? Okay, get after it. Right. So long.
Well, Inspector?
This'll kill you, Kent. That license number is for Bushmill's own car.
What?
Yeah, they snatched him in his own car. So now we don't know any more about them than we did before.
Hey, Biggie, look. Snyder's coming, too.
Yeah, Chopin, he is. Maybe he can talk now. Listen, Snyder, you said you knew who Superman is. Now tell me. You hear me, Snyder? Tell me who Superman is.
I don't think he hears you, Biggie.
Wait. Lips are moving.
Dark now. Dark. Cops can't see me. Gotta get going.
Hey, get him.
Quiet, Chopin.
Dark, bad. Gotta keep going now. Gotta get the Biggie Conroy. Big shot.
Hey, he thinks he's still trying to get here, Biggie.
Yeah. Listen, Snyder. I'm Biggie Conroy. You hear me? I'm Biggie. I'll take care of you, Snyder. Just tell me who Superman is.
Willie Snyder, I know who's Superman.
Well, come on, tell us, will you?
Yeah, come on, talk, Willie. Talk.
You know, Biggie, I think he's hysterical.
Shut up.
I knew right away. As soon as I saw costume. Can't fool me. Same costume. That time Superman grabbed me and the boy.
Sure. Now listen, Snyder.
Gotta get out of here. Take costume. Take the Biggie Conroy. Get Big Doe.
He's nuts. We better get that cloaker back in here.
That's no use. Dr. Bushmill said he can't do no more.
No, you don't, cop. You ain't gonna touch this costume.
Well, what are we gonna do with this guy? He won't talk. The longer he stays here, the more...
Shut up, Chopin. Listen to me, Snyder.
Big Doe. Biggie Conroy. Superman. Big Doe. Superman.
Snyder.
What? Holy smokes, Biggie. I think he's dead.
Quick, Chopin. Get Dr. Bushmill in here. Go on.
Yeah, okay.
Hurry.
That you, Biggie?
Hey, wait, Chopin. Yes, Snyder. This is Biggie.
Good. I want to make a deal with you. I know who Superman is.
Well, you tell me who he is, and I'll cut you in for half the profits. You'll get millions.
Millions?
Yeah. Just tell me who he is.
Millions?
Yeah. Go on, Snyder. Tell me. Who is Superman?
Okay, Biggie. Get a load of this.
Leaning forward tensely, Biggie Conroy and his henchman Chopin wait for the dying ex-convict to speak.
We'll be back in a moment for the dramatic climax of today's episode. So keep listening.
Now, gang, here's Superman with a very special message he wants to bring you personally. Come in, Superman.
History was made last week, boys and girls. History was made on a tennis court by the most important organization in tennis today. The United States Lawn Tennis Association, which makes all the rules concerning amateur tennis matches, announced that for the first time a Negro player had been chosen to compete in the tournament for the National Tennis Championship. The player's name is Dr. Reginald Weir. Now, gang, this is just one more proof that sportsmen all over the country are putting into practice our belief that what counts is a man's ability, not the color of his skin or his religion or the place where his folks were born. Jackie Robinson, the first Negro in Major League Baseball, has already proven his great skill. And last week, Joe Yancey, Negro track coach, was voted the annual award of the New York Track Writers for long and meritorious service in behalf of that sport. You see, gang, true sportsmen never draw a color line. The big league players in every field are learning that. So make sure that you and your teams and clubhouses follow their example of fair play. If you're scouting a good baseball player for your team, don't look at his skin color, look at his throwing arm. If you need a new pitcher, never mind his race, just watch him sizzle a curve across the plate. Yes, ability and teamwork are the only things that count in sports, whether it's baseball or tennis or bowling or tin can hockey. And if any mug tries to tell you differently, yell foul. Because in sports, gang, the racial prejudice line is the foul line.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman.
Tell me, Snyder. Tell me. Who is Superman?
He lives Maple Crest Apartments. Huh?
He lives in the Maple Crest Apartments?
Yeah. Park Place. 38.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Which apartment? Apartment number. Yeah.
Go on, Snyder.
What number? Snyder, tell us. Uh-oh. Peggy, I think.
Yeah. He's dead, Chopin.
Holy cow, gone before he could tell us.
Maybe he told us enough.
What do you mean?
He told us Superman lives in the Maple Crest Apartments.
Yeah, but it's a big building. Lots of people live
Right.
there.
But we know he lives in an apartment with a movable panel in one of the walls and a secret closet behind it. Now all we gotta do is find out which apartment that is, Chopin. And when we get that, we'll know who Superman is.
His little eyes gleaming in his beefy face, Biggie Conroy believes that the secret of Superman's double identity and the fortune that knowledge will bring him is practically in his hands. But Superman is unaware of this new development and unaware that his greatest fear, the fear that his true identity will become known to powerful figures in the underworld, is so close to realization. What is going to happen now? We'll find out in tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls, so don't fail to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 7 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooter.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, racket boss Biggie Conroy reveals to Chopin, a henchman, that now he is confident of discovering Superman's great secret.
You see, Chopin? We know Superman lives in the Maple Crest Apartments disguised as some other guy.
Yeah, but what other guy?
That's what you're going to find out.
How do you expect me to do that?
Easy. We know his apartment has a secret closet behind the movable wall panel.
So I want you to go over to the Maple Crest and find the apartment with the secret closet, see?
Yeah.
Then we know who Superman is. Now, go on, get going.
Gang, have you ever visited a newspaper publishing plant and seen the gigantic printing presses that roll off page after page of newsprint? Well, if you have, then you know how type is first set and then cast into a plate that is locked onto the printing rollers and then, once set, runs off copy after copy of pages, each exactly like the other. Well, the plate that is cast from the set type is called a stereotype. As strange as it may seem, the minds of a lot of people work just like that, too. They fix a mental picture of a kind of person and then apply that picture or mental stereotype to all people of the same racial, religious, or national background. Now, you know that no two people can possibly be exactly the same. You know that there are dark types and light types in all races, that some are tall and some are short, some are good and some are bad. So you see, you can't stereotype people. Think how many stories you've read that included characters like Irish cops or Italian fruit peddlers or Negro porters. Well, if you judged by that alone, you'd be led to believe that all Irishmen are cops, all Italians fruit peddlers, and all Negroes porters. Well, maybe some are. But I'm sure you know some Irish insurance men, for instance, or Italian accountants, and Negro doctors. Use your intelligence to help you realize that people can't be stereotyped like printing plates. Judge each individual for his own personal qualities. Like him or dislike him for himself. Remember that although all people are created equal, each person develops his own personality, and no racial, religious, or national group is cut out of one pattern.
And now, the adventures of Superman. During Clark Kent's absence, a burglar named Willie Snyder entered his apartment, and behind a movable wall panel, he discovered a secret closet in which he found a Superman costume. Realizing he had stumbled on the answer to Superman's great secret, his double identity, Snyder hurried from the apartment with the costume. But in the alley, he was intercepted by a police officer, and after a gun battle in which he was seriously wounded, he managed to escape to the house of Biggie Conroy, a big-time racket boss. Snyder told Conroy that Superman lived in the Maple Crest apartments, and he revealed where he had found the Man of Steel's costume. But before he could say exactly which apartment it was, he died. As we continue now, Conroy questions Chopin, his piano-playing companion, who has just returned from a special mission.
Well, let's have it, Chopin. What's the dope?
Well, we dumped Snyder's body, like you said, Biggie. Then I went over to Maple Crest Apartments to case it.
Well?
It's a big joint, Biggie. 8 stories. 10 apartments on each floor. A penthouse on the roof. 3 apartments on the ground floor.
So what?
Well, that means there's 84 apartments there. So how are we going to get in all of them? And stay in them long enough to find a secret closet. Tell me that.
Yeah, there must be a way.
Bust in, maybe?
No, I can't pull a stunt like that.
Then tell me how we're going to do it.
Well, if you shut up, I'll try to figure it out.
Okay.
Must be a way to examine those apartments.
It's going to be tough, Biggie.
Look, Chopin, play me something on the piano. It helps me to think.
Yeah, sure, okay. What do you have? Swing? Boogie-woogie? Or maybe some dreamy stuff, huh? Like this.
No, not that. It makes me sleepy.
Okay, Biggie, yeah. Let's see, how about this?
Yeah, that's your stuff, Chopin. That's nuts. That'll help me think of something.
Sure you will. You got brains, Biggie.
Well, stop gabbing and let me use them.
Okay.
Let's see now. No, that's no good.
What's no good, Biggie?
Never mind. Maybe if... No, that's no good either. Hey, wait!
Huh?
Stop playing.
Hey, you think of something, Biggie?
Yeah, I think so. Get Slick on the phone.
Slick Bailey?
Yeah, hurry up.
Okay, what's the gimmick?
I'll tell you later. Just tell Slick to get over here right away. I got a job for him.
Just a minute. Hiya, Clark.
Oh, Batman. Come in.
Right. Well, any news?
Here it is. Robin and I have been on a grand tour of the underworld.
Yes, I know, but what did you
covered the town. Broke bread with all the nicest people. Sneak thieves, safe crackers, stick-up men, confidence artists, stool pigeons.
Skip all that, Batman. Just tell me, what did you find out?
Exactly nothing, Clark.
Nothing?
Nobody knows from nothing about Willie Snyder, last seen with a couple of bullets in him fleeing from a police officer.
I see.
Or if they do know, even Batman and Robin can't make them talk.
I haven't been able to pick up a trace of him either. Neither have the police. Oh, this is terrible, Batman. What am I going to do?
Now, take it easy, chum.
Take it easy? How can I when that ex-convict Willie Snyder knows that I'm Superman when he has my costume?
Well, I know
he may be revealing it to some big-time criminals at this very moment. Or he may have already told them. They could be plotting against me right now.
Now, wait. Has it occurred to you that maybe Willie Snyder is dead?
Yes, but, well, I don't think so.
Why not? He was badly wounded, you know. But he didn't go to any hospital or to any listed physician. So
but
what?
Have you forgotten Dr. Asa Bushmill, the famous surgeon who was forcibly taken away from the Metropolis Hospital last night? I still think he was taken away to treat Willie Snyder.
Well, could be. But that's only a hunch, Clark.
I think it's a good hunch.
Now, there's your phone. You want me to answer it?
No, never mind. Hello?
That you, Kent?
Yes, who's this?
Sergeant Haley, Inspector Henderson's office.
Oh, yes, Sergeant.
Can you come down to the city morgue right away?
Well, why? What for?
The guy was just brought in. Think maybe you can identify him.
I? But
Do me
who?
a favor and come on down, will you, Kent? I'll be waiting for you.
Yes, of course, Sergeant. I'll be right down.
What's cooking, Clark?
Funny, Sergeant Healy wants me to identify somebody at the city morgue.
Wants you to?
Yes. I don't understand it. Well, let's go, Batman.
Recognize this guy, Kent?
What? Why, yes, that's Willie Snyder.
We thought so, but you sure, Clark?
Positive. Superman rounded up this fellow with part of a gang a couple of years ago. I covered the story for the Daily Planet.
Oh, I see.
Where did you find him, Sergeant?
Under some bushes in Metropolis Park.
In the park,
Wait,
huh?
Batman. Wait a minute. What possessions did Snyder have with him when you found him, Sergeant?
Come over here and I'll show you. Everything he had on him is in this table. Practically nothing.
Clark, I don't see your...
Hold it. Batman.
Sorry. You don't see what, Batman?
Well, all I see is a couple of dollars and some keys and a piece of wire.
That's all there was. The keys are master keys.
Uh-huh. One of them probably fits my door.
Sure. Now, what was it he stole from you?
Forget it, Sergeant. It isn't here.
I didn't figure it was. But what was it? The inspector wants to know.
It can't possibly help you or Inspector Henderson, Sergeant. Take my word for it. Come on, Batman. Let's go. Maple Crest Apartments, please, driver. Park Place and 38th Street.
Right.
Well, Clark, it begins to look as if your worries are all over.
How do you figure that, Batman?
Metropolis Park, where Snyder was found, is only a few blocks from where he was shot. So my guess is the guy went there to hide until it got dark and died.
You really believe that?
I do. Furthermore, I think your secret died with him.
Oh, how I wish I could believe that, too.
Well, why can't you?
Well, for one thing, my costume wasn't found with him.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. But granted it's true, so what?
So what? So I figure he made his way to some pals and they've got it.
Well, suppose they have. What good does it do them?
Well, none. Unless Snyder was able to tell them where he got my costume and who I am before he died.
Yeah. That's the jackpot question.
Yes, that's the question on which my career, perhaps my very life, depends, Batman. And I've got a funny feeling we'll get the answer to it very soon.
You're right, Superman. The answer is being prepared for you at this very instant. We'll be back in a moment to find out about it, gang, so keep listening.
Ever been to the Hall of Mirrors, gang? I'll bet that's one place you and your friends make a beeline for when a carnival hits town. And I don't blame you, because it's always a laugh riot to look in those trick mirrors and see the hilariously funny and weird shapes you and your friends take on. Boy, oh boy, if any of us looked in real life like we look in those mirrors, would we be unhappy? Well, did you know that sometimes cartoons and malicious stories work like those trick mirrors? Yes, that's right. They give you a cockeyed, lopsided idea of what people are really like. How? Well, it's easy. For instance, an artist or a writer will picture a character of a particular racial or religious background with a mean face and a funny accent, and make him the villain of every story or cartoon. That gives readers an idea that all people of the same religious or racial background are just like that, which is exactly what the misguided artist or writer wanted them to think. But people who fall for phony stuff like that are suckers, because by simply getting acquainted with their neighbors of different races and creeds, they could easily see that the caricatures pictured in those malicious cartoons and stories no more resemble real people than the twisted image in the trick mirrors resembles you. Now, you're smart enough to understand how tricking up a mirror will distort a reflection. So you should be smart enough to see through the tricks that distort the real quality of Americans because of their race, religion, or national origin. Don't let anyone make a hall of mirrors out of your mind. Train yourself to see people clearly for what they really are.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman.
That's fine, Slick. Swell. All right, hop right to it and keep me posted. Yeah. So long.
What's Slick got to say, Biggie?
Everything's going fine. It's all set, Chopin.
Yeah? What's the gimmick?
Remember when Mike Hickey was running this town before Perry White got elected mayor? We had a painting and contracting company to take care of all the city buildings.
Oh, boy, was that a sweet racket? But what about it?
Well, still got all the equipment, see? So just now, Slick Bailey, who's really got a gift for gab, you know.
Yeah, you're telling me.
He flashes his business cards and his talk, and he gets the agent of the Maple Crest Apartments, where Superman lives, to let him paint all the apartments in the building with his new fireproof paint.
What fireproof paint?
There ain't none really, Chopin. That's just Slick's gag, see?
Oh, I get it. That way Slick can get into all the apartments, huh?
That's it. Then he and the boys can go over every wall till they find the one with a movable panel and the secret closet behind it. And when they find that...
We got the answer to the jackpot question,
Right,
huh?
Chopin. Then we got Superman where we want him, and there ain't nothing we can't have.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. With that information, we can get away with murder.
The threat to Superman's great secret, his double identity, and perhaps to his very life is underway right now. What will happen as Superman, unaware that Biggie Conroy's henchmen are now in his very building, comes closer and closer to exposure? There are tense and exciting moments ahead, fellows and girls, so be sure to listen tomorrow. Tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 8 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics Magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
It's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, is in his apartment with his friend, the famous Batman, when a shocking thought occurs to him.
Now, Batman, I'm more certain than I was before that Willie Snyder, the burglar who discovered my double identity, revealed my secret to someone before he died.
What? Why do you say that, Clark?
Wait just a minute, and you'll see for yourself.
Fellows and girls, don't ever be a coat holder. You know what that is? Well, let me tell you. A coat holder is a guy who always stands ready to hold someone's coat in a fight, but will never stand up and fight for himself. He's the guy who says, don't let that so-and-so call us names. Let's you and him fight it out. I'll hold the coats. Brave, isn't he? I'll say he is not. Yet that's true in cases where the fight is really important, where it's everybody's fight, where every one of us should be in there swinging, such as the fight against prejudice. Gang, don't ever be a coat holder where something so important as that is concerned. Now, I don't say that you should actually go around slugging everyone who says something nasty about you or other people, because there are other, more effective ways to fight anything so mean and low as racial and religious prejudice. How? Well, it's very simple. You just treat your classmates and neighbors, all of them, like regular Joes, no matter what their race or religion. You deal a body blow to the enemy. And if you cold shoulder the guy who uses ugly words that smear another fellow's race or religion, you lash out with an uppercut that sends prejudice reeling. You see, this is everyone's fight, because when neighbor is made to feel intolerant of neighbor, our country's strength is weakened and all of us suffer. So if you love your country, be on the alert. And when you see or hear things that you consider intolerant, don't let them pass by. Keep driving against such things until prejudice in America goes down for the count.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Seriously wounded in a gunfight with a police officer, an ex-convict named Willie Snyder told Biggie Conroy, a racket boss, that he knew who Superman was, and he produced Superman's costume to prove it. Snyder explained that he had entered an apartment in the Maple Crest Arms, intending to rob it, but discovering a secret closet behind a movable wall panel, in which was the costume and red cape of Superman, he realized that he was in the apartment of Superman himself. But before he could say more, the burglar died. However, Biggie Conroy, his greed excited by visions of the fortune he could make if he knew who Superman was, made plans to uncover the Man of Steel's disguise. He explained his plan to Chopin, his piano-playing companion.
You see, Chopin, I've got Slick Bailey posing as a big paint contractor. And he got the job to paint the Maple Crest Arms apartments where Superman lives.
I get it, Biggie. That way Slick can get in all the apartments, huh?
That's the idea. He goes over all the walls till he finds the one with a movable panel and secret closet. And when he finds that one, we know the guy who lives in the apartment is Superman.
As we continue now, it is the following day. Biggie Conroy is walking the floor, his heavy jaws champing nervously on a dead cigar. Chopin, by request, is playing the piano in an effort to soothe the frazzled nerves of his chief.
Can it, Chopin, can it?
Can what, Biggie?
The music! Don't help none.
Oh. I'll play you some ragtime. I know you like that. How's that, huh?
No good. Cut it out.
Oh, yeah. One I should play sweet, maybe? Like this?
I don't want you should play sweet or any other way.
Oh, come, Biggie. I thought you always feel good when I play.
Well, I don't feel good now. I feel nervous.
Oh, well, I got just the ticket for that. Your favorite piece. You know.
Stop it! You hit that music box again, Chopin, and I'll brain you with it.
All right. I've seen you like this before. What's eating you, Biggie?
I ain't heard from Slick yet. That's what's eating me.
Oh, that.
Yeah, that. Sitting here with all the dough in the world just waiting for me to pick it up. Only I can't pick it up till Slick finds that secret closet and I know who Superman is.
Slick can't find it out right away, Biggie. It might take weeks, maybe.
Weeks? Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. There's 84 apartments in that building, remember? Slick might have to paint every one of them before he finds the right one.
He don't have to paint any of them.
What do you mean? How else is he going to get in those apartments?
The way we figured it is he... Wait a minute. Hello?
That you, Biggie?
Yeah, Slick?
Hey, that's Slick.
listen.
Shut up, egghead.
Who, me?
No, not you, Slick. I was talking to Chopin.
What's on your mind, Biggie? I got a message to call you.
You know what's on my mind. You find it yet?
Not yet. Give me a little time.
You had plenty of time. You were in the building all day yesterday and this morning.
Sure, but it takes time to go over an apartment. Good, I mean. And there's 84 apartments in this joint.
Yeah? Well, how many apartments you checked so far?
Just about half. We finished the first 4 floors. I'm starting on the 5th now.
You ought to find it pretty soon, then.
Sure.
Well, call me the minute you do.
Okay, Biggie.
Well, get going. So long.
So long.
Well, you satisfied now, Clark?
What do you mean, Batman?
Are you satisfied that I was right when I said Willie Snyder died before he could tell anyone you're Superman?
Well, I admit it looks that way.
There's no doubt about it. He hid in that old fire station after the shooting. Then when it got dark, he crawled into the park where the police found him and died.
That could be. What happened to my costume? We know he had it with him when he left this apartment.
He probably dropped it somewhere. He was very badly wounded, you know.
Yes, I guess that's the answer. Snyder had contacted his pals. As I suspected, it seems to me I would have heard from them some way by now.
Of course. Well, if your mind's at ease, I'll leave you. Robin tells me there are a couple of important cases waiting for my attention.
Oh, sure. Go right ahead, Batman. I appreciate all you've done, by the way. Thank Robin for me, too, huh?
Forget it, chum. You saved my hide and Robin's more than once. I'll just climb back into Bruce Wayne's clothes before I leave. That Batman get up attracts too much attention.
Bruce Wayne, the playboy. You certainly don't look like the dynamic Batman in that nifty plaid drape model.
You don't exactly look like Superman either in that quiet business suit and horn-rimmed spec.
I guess not.
There, all set. Well, so long, Clark.
So long, Bruce. And thanks again. Hey, wait a minute.
Somebody at your door. Who?
That's just Johnson, the building superintendent.
Oh.
Just a minute. Hello, Johnson. What can I do for you?
I've got the painting contractor here, Mr. Kent.
Painting contractor?
Mr. Bailey.
I'm Bailey.
Oh.
Just want to look over your walls, see what shape they're in before I send my painters in. It'll only take me a few minutes.
Just a minute, Mr. Bailey.
Yeah?
I wasn't told that my apartment was to be decorated.
Well, the agent just decided on it the other day, Mr. Kent. He's having Mr. Bailey's company paint all the apartments with that new fireproof paint.
I see.
That's wonderful stuff, Mr. Kent. My paint makes your walls and floors absolutely fireproof. Just let me check your walls.
No, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Well, I don't want my apartment painted.
You don't?
No,
Well, that's a new one on me. Most tenants are tickled when they hear I'm going to decorate their apartments.
Yes, well, you see, Mr. Bailey, I'm allergic to paint.
You what?
I'm allergic to paint. The smell of it makes me sick. Isn't that right, Bruce?
What? Yes.
You see? But thanks very much anyhow, gentlemen. Goodbye.
Now, wait a minute. There's no smell to this new paint.
Now,
It's
look, I don't...
odorless, so you can forget all about
Well,
that.
just the same, Well, anyhow, I can't have my apartment messed up now. I'm expecting out-of-town guests, and they're going to stay quite a while.
Oh, that'll be okay, Mr. Kent. I won't send them in till you say so. But I got to check the walls myself in advance, see? Then they can be painted whenever you say. It'll only be a few minutes.
No, wait a minute.
Sure, he'll only be a few minutes, Mr. Kent. Won't inconvenience you at all.
Helpless, unable to protest further without arousing suspicion, Clark Kent watches Slick Bailey begin to examine the walls of his apartment, behind one wall of which is the secret closet. We'll be back in a moment for the tense climax of today's episode, so keep listening.
The other day, gang, a comedian panicked his audience by saying, "My skin is milky white because I drink a lot of milk." It was such a silly idea that his listeners were doubled up laughing. But strangely enough, some people have other equally silly ideas about skin color, and nobody laughs at them. In fact, some of us swallow their weird tales as the real thing. Well, we think it's time you knew the real reason why your skin is a certain color. So here's the scientific truth. Listen carefully. Scientists have discovered that skin color is determined by two special chemicals found in our blood. They are called carotene and melanin. Now, carotene is the chemical that gives skin a yellowish color. Melanin gives it a brown color. Nobody's skin color is made up of just carotene or just melanin. Everybody's color is a mixture of both. If you are a Negro or dark-skinned, you have more melanin than carotene. If you are Oriental or light-skinned, you have more carotene and melanin. The different combinations of the brown and yellow colors these chemicals give, plus the pinkish tinge that comes when the blood vessels show through, give various shades to the human skin. It's just a matter of how the combinations are made. That is the accurate scientific truth, and don't let anyone tell you different. Next time some two-bit talker says he's better than someone else because of the color of his skin, just ask him what's so extra special about his carotene and melanin combination. Of course, you will know the answer.
the adventures of Superman. Standing tensely with Bruce Wayne at one end of his living room, Clark Kent watches as Slick Bailey, who pretends to be a painting contractor, moves slowly along the walls, testing and tapping them.
Bruce, I've got a feeling he's looking for the secret closet.
What makes you think so, Clark?
Look how he's tapping at the walls and listening. Obvious he's hunting for the hollow panel.
Oh, you're imagining things. How could he know about it?
Maybe Willie Snyder told him about the secret closet before he died.
Oh, now look, Clark.
Sure, this fellow's looking for it. When he finds it, he'll know I'm Superman.
You're just jumpy, Clark. You're just imagining.
I'm not, I tell you. Since when do painters go around tapping on walls like that?
Well, he might be looking for cracks.
Oh, he's not, and you know it. He's looking for the secret closet.
Well, if you're sure.
I am.
Well, then what are we waiting for? Let's give him the old heave-ho. Come on.
No, Bruce. If we do that, then he'll know this is the apartment.
What? We'll have him locked up or something?
No good. We don't know how many others Snyder told this to. If we touch this man or stop him, we'll tip our hand.
Well, then what are we going to do?
I don't know. Great Scott.
What now?
Finish the living room. Going into the bedroom. That's where my secret closet is.
Oh.
You'll find it in a minute. Then you'll know I'm Superman. What'll I do, Bruce? What'll I do?
Yes, Superman, what can you do? In only a matter of moments now, Slick Bailey will discover the secret closet and report to Biggie Conroy that you, Clark Kent, are Superman. Think fast, Superman. You have only moments, perhaps only seconds, before your most cherished secret is discovered, and you will be revealed to the underworld. What are you going to do? Never before has Superman been in such a predicament as this, fellows and girls. Can you see how he can possibly save himself? Whatever you do, don't miss Monday's thrilling and amazing episode. Be sure to tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 9 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooter. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, stands with Batman, both of them helpless, as Slick Bailey examines the walls of Kent's apartment and is within seconds of making a momentous discovery.
Great Scott, Batman. He went into my bedroom. That's where the secret closet is.
Oh.
Just a minute, he'll find it. Then he'll know I'm Superman. What'll I do?
A champagne bottle crashes against the side of a ship. The crowd cheers excitedly as the newly christened ship slides into the water. If you were at Pier 3 at the Brooklyn Army Base last week, that's what you would have seen. For a United States Army transport was being named in memory of one of our greatest war heroes, the USAT Sadeo S. Munamori. The story behind the name is an exciting one that happened only 3 short years ago on a blood-soaked battlefield in Italy. American soldiers were fighting and dying there, And in the front lines was the famous 442nd Regimental Combat Team, a celebrated group made up entirely of Japanese Americans whose record of bravery is unsurpassed in American history. Private Sadeo Munomori was a squad leader in the 442nd. One night, as he and his men silently crept into enemy territory, a violent burst of machine gun fire shattered the air. In the face of great danger, Private Munomori crept up on 2 German machine gun nests that had found their target. He destroyed both. Then, as he crept back to his own men, he saw a hand grenade fall near them. Without hesitation, he flung himself on top of it as it exploded. The lives of his comrades were saved, but the life of Sadeo Munomori was gone. For this act of supreme courage, Sadeo Munomori was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, the highest decoration this country can bestow upon its heroes. Now, the United States Army Transport, Sadeo S. Munomori, will be a further tribute to him and to his fellow Japanese-American comrades who so gallantly fought and died for their country.
And now, the adventures of Superman. During Superman's absence from the apartment he occupies as Clark Kent, an ex-convict entered and burglarized it. But when he accidentally discovered a secret closet in which was a distinctive blue costume and red cape, the thief realized he had stumbled on the secret of Superman's double identity. Seriously wounded by a police officer, the burglar managed to make his way to a big-time racketeer named Biggie Conroy, to whom he revealed that Superman lived in the Maple Crest Arms, in an apartment which had a secret closet behind a movable panel. But before he could say which apartment, he died. Realizing he could reap a fortune if he knew who Superman was, Conroy directed a henchman named Slick Bailey to pose as a painting contractor and obtain entrance to all the apartments in Superman's building. When Slick Bailey entered Kent's apartment and began tapping on the walls, Kent realized he was hunting for the secret closet. Now, in company with the famous Batman, who is in his guise of Bruce Wayne, Kent can only stand by helplessly as the racketeer completes his examination of the living room walls and enters the bedroom.
Great Scott, Bruce. He'll find the secret closet in a moment and know that I'm Superman. What'll I do?
Well, there's only one thing to do. Grab him and give him the old heave-ho.
No. I can't do that. If we throw him out, we'll be admitting the truth.
That's right, but we can't let him find the secret closet and report it to his gang.
Oh, I know.
Think fast, chum. He's almost at the payoff panel. When he hears that hollow sound, he'll know.
Hey, wait a minute, Bruce. I've got an idea.
Oh, good. Let's have it.
I'm going to put on an act.
What?
Yeah, you know, act like I'm gone in the head. What? Yeah, throw a fit of fainting, everything.
Oh.
You take it from there.
Okay, chum. Count on me.
Good. Here goes. Play along now.
All right.
I don't like that man. He's a rat.
Now, take it easy.
I'm going to fix his clock. Good.
No. Clark, no, take it easy.
Let me go. He wants to rob me.
No.
That's what he
Come
wants
on,
to
take
do.
it easy. I'm sure you've got him wrong.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Oh, come on.
I don't
Come on, Clark.
Let me go. I don't trust anybody.
Clark, he's just a painter.
Not even you.
Oh, what do you mean?
Everybody's against me.
Hey,
even you.
what's going on in here?
Help me hold him, mister. He's having another one of his fits.
That's
A
him.
fit? Yes, he gets the pretty
He's
often.
the one I
Easy,
want.
Clark, easy.
You said you're a painter.
He is just a painter.
But I know better.
Oh.
You're trying to rob
He's not
me.
trying to rob you,
That's
Clark.
what-
No.
me? Let me go. Yes,
Hey.
but I won't let you. See, I won't
Clark,
let you.
come
I'll
on.
kill you. That's
Hey,
what
now,
I'll
take
do.
it easy.
Hey, look out!
Clark!
Hey, what's the matter with
Oh,
him?
he's fainted. Oh, this is terrible. Quick, Mr. Bailey, help me carry him to his bed, will you?
Yeah, sure. What's the matter with him?
It's his head. He often gets this way. He thinks everybody's against him.
No kidding.
Yes, I had better call the doctor as soon as he's comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look, this happened kind of sudden, didn't it?
It always does. He's as normal as anybody 1 minute, and then without any warning, he gets violent. Tries to kill people.
Hey, he does, huh?
Yeah. Now, just drop him on the bed, please.
Yeah, okay. Hey, he's pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's all muscle, too. Well, you better leave now.
Yeah, sure I will. As soon as I finish examining these walls.
Oh, you better do now.
My painters have to come in pretty soon.
Fix you. You can't cheat me.
Oh, Clark.
I'll kill you.
Clark.
That's what I'll do. I'll
Hey,
kill
he's
you.
coming too.
Yeah, and he's starting to get violent again.
Hey, he is,
Where
huh?
is he?
Yes, and he gets strong as a bull when he's like this.
Kill him
He
when I
almost
get
finished a
my
friend of his
hands
about a month
on him.
ago. Took 4 of us to pull him away.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Where's the man who was here? I'll break him in half.
Take it
I'll
easy.
split his head.
Beat it, Mr.
That's
Bailey.
what I'll do.
Beat it, Mr. Bailey. Hurry, or I won't answer for
Wait a minute,
consequences.
maybe I'd better. I'll be back.
Where is he?
All right, but get out.
Let me get
Hurry.
my hands on it. Where is he? Get him on.
Easy, Clark. down, relax.
You know, for a moment there, I was afraid he wasn't going to fall for it.
So was I.
Oh, brother.
Say, that was some act you put on.
Oh, thanks, Bruce. You did pretty well yourself.
Did you see how fast he got out of here when I told him you almost finished a man last month?
Uh-huh. Hey, wait a minute. What are we celebrating for? I'm not out of the woods yet.
Hey, that's right. Bailey said he'd be back.
Uh-huh. And I can't throw another fit without his getting suspicious.
Well, have you got any more ideas?
Yes, I have. The easiest thing to do now is to get rid of my secret closet.
Did you say easy?
Sure. Only we need a little time. Wait a minute. Oh, there he is. Bailey's in the apartment above us now. Penthouse on the roof.
How do you know?
How do I know? I can see him.
Oh, of course, X-ray vision.
Yeah, it's a big apartment. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 rooms. Take him a good half hour to examine all the walls up there.
But he'll probably come back here when he finishes it.
That's what I figure.
Then we're out of luck. We can't brick up your secret closet in half an hour, even if we had the bricks and mortar, which we haven't.
We've got to do it. I'll peel down to my Superman outfit.
What for?
Gonna hop out to some building yard, and in 2 shakes I'll be back with bricks and mortar.
Oh, I get it.
While I'm gone, Bruce, you remove the panel with a screwdriver. You'll find one in a drawer in the kitchenette.
Okay, chum. But I still wonder if we can do it in time.
We must. There we are, all set. I'll leave by this window. Be back in a jiffy. Up, and away!
There. That certainly didn't take you long, Superman.
Wasn't wasting any time, Bruce. Now, I'll dump these bricks on the floor. Okay, bring that newspaper, will you please, Bruce? I'll set this barrel of mortar on it.
Okay. Look, is Bailey still up in the penthouse?
Let's see. Yeah, he's still there.
Okay. Set the barrel down.
All right. I brought 2 trowels, one for you, one for me.
Me? I've never laid bricks before.
Well, here's where you learn, brother. Come on, let's get to work. Now, just these 2 bricks on top, and we're finished, Bruce. Water. There, that does it.
Right. Hey, that's not a bad job.
No.
We ought to get union cards.
Yeah, remind me of that. How to get this panel back in place.
Oh, here's the screwdriver.
Oh, thanks. Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
Our friend Bailey is all through upstairs.
Oh, what's he doing?
He's walking into the stair hall. Now he's coming down the stairs. My hut says he's coming here to finish looking over this room.
I'll buy that. Hurry and finish setting that panel, will you?
Just about finished. Just this one screw. There, that does it. Now, help me straighten up this mess, will you? Throw these extra bricks under the bed.
Check. Oh, what are you going to do with the barrel of mortar?
Set it in my clothes closet.
Okay.
There. Takes care of that. How you coming?
Everything shipshape.
Not a second too soon. Bailey's at the door. Let him ring a little more before you let him in, Bruce. I gotta get back into Clark Kent's clothes.
Okay. I'll sweep up this brick dust left on the floor.
Yeah, do that. There. Tie. Back. There. Okay, let him in, Bruce, while I lie down.
Check.
Coming.
Wait! Bruce!
Now what?
Look! The panel!
What about it?
Don't you see what we did?
No,
Holy smokes!
Horrified, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne, who was Batman, stare at the telltale panel in the wall behind which they have just built a brick wall. What is wrong? We'll be back in a moment to find out. So keep listening.
It was Japan, 1944. 2 Japanese faced each other across a polished desk, smiling broadly. The general gloated expansively, talking of the might and power that would soon be Japan's. As he spoke, he turned to the windows of his office and looked out at the sea. The other man listened politely and silently. With equal silence, his fingers reached across the desk and touched the war plans that were scattered there, carefully edging them towards him. As the general spoke on of the glory that would soon be Japan's, the other man studied the vital parts of the military plan. Then he inched the papers back on the desk to where they were at first. When the general finally turned from the window, he saw his listener sitting quietly as before, smiling. Yes, you've guessed it. That innocent-looking man was an espionage agent for the United States Army, an American citizen of Japanese parentage who was risking his life for our country. Yes, gang, all through the war, many of our Japanese American citizens were facing certain death by doing dangerous but vital espionage work for us. No white man could have done their jobs in Japan so well, because they passed as native Japanese, and the result was a constant leak of vital information out of that country. But the price of such courage was almost certain death. Very few spies ever came out of Japan alive. Those Japanese Americans knew that and never expected to come back. They gave their lives just as Americans of all races and creeds have done throughout our history, that you and I might have a better chance to live. Remember that, gang. Too many forget it.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. His hand shaking, Clark Kent directs Bruce Wayne's attention to a panel in the wall, behind which had previously been the secret closet.
We put the panel back upside down, Bruce. The wallpaper on it doesn't match the pattern of the rest of the wall now.
Suffering catfish. Bailey will see it and catch on. Where's that screwdriver? We've got to fix it, Clark.
We can't. Bailey just came in.
But how could he? The door...
He must have slipped the door catch when he went out before.
Feel all right now, Mr. Kent?
Oh, I never felt worse in my life.
Their faces pale as sheets. Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne watch wide-eyed as Slick Bailey bustles cheerily into the room to resume his examination of the walls in search of the secret closet. The closet is gone, but in their haste, Kent and Wayne made an error which may nullify all their work and reveal Kent's double identity. What can Kent do now? What will happen? There are more thrills and surprises in tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls, so be sure to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 10 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
It's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, Superman and Batman realize they have committed a blunder which may have very serious consequences.
Great Scott, Batman. Look. Look at that wall panel.
Holy smokes. What a mistake.
Yes, and here comes Bailey. What'll we do?
I'm afraid it's too late to do anything, Superman. We're sunk.
Listen to this, gang. It's a true story. The locker room was electric with tension. All the men on the football team knew the captain was angry at them. Sharp tempers snapped through the air, and snatches of irritable conversation whipped back and forth. The boys pulled their uniforms off viciously. Suddenly, the whole room froze into silence as the door opened and the captain walked in. He was an 18-year-old lad who moved with the grace of a true athlete. His good-natured grin was known all over town, but today that grin wasn't there. His face was drawn in the hard lines of disappointment. He told them that he had always been proud to be their captain. But now they had let him down. They had acted without the backbone he had always admired in them. They had actually refused to play another high school team because there was a Negro boy on the squad. This isn't the kind of football I play, he said. Better get yourself another captain. And he left the room.
complete silence. After a while, the quarterback turned to the right tackle. Maybe we ought to call him back, he said. I think I'd rather play the game his way, come to think of it. The team went along with the quarterback, and the captain did come back. Since that day, the captain's name has become known throughout the world. For this captain was Ike Eisenhower, the man who guided our soldiers to victory, who led us in our battle against Hitlerism, who broke the forces of prejudice and bigotry. Yes, boys and girls, Ike Eisenhower always put up a good fight for what he believed in. He proved that in Africa, in Europe, and first of all, in a locker room in Kansas. Let that be an example to us all.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Just before he died, a wounded ex-convict revealed to Biggie Conroy, a rackets boss, that he'd discovered Superman lived in a building called the Maple Crest Arms, in an apartment which had a secret closet behind a movable wall panel. Then, knowing he could make a fortune from the underworld if he knew Superman's other identity, Conroy had a henchman named Slick Bailey pose as a painting contractor and try to locate the apartment in the Maple Crest Arms, which had the secret closet. When Bailey entered the apartment of Clark Kent, who, as we know, is Superman, and began to examine the walls, Kent became suspicious. To get rid of Bailey, he pretended to throw a fit. And realizing that Bailey would return to resume his search, Kent and his friend Bruce Wayne, who was really Batman, worked like beavers to brick up the telltale secret closet in Kent's bedroom. But just as they finished, and Slick Bailey was at the door, they found they had made a terrible blunder. For in their haste, they had replaced the movable panel in the wall upside down.
That's Bailey at the door, Bruce. Now we are sunk.
Wait. Maybe he won't notice it, Clark.
How can he help noticing? The wallpaper in the panel doesn't match the design in the rest of the wall now.
Oh, you're right. But what can we do now? We haven't time to replace the panel.
We can't let him in until we get the panel fixed.
Somebody opened the door.
Bailey. He must have left it unlocked when he went out before.
Mr. Kent?
Oh, we're sunk now, Clark.
You okay now, Mr. Kent?
Oh, I never felt worse in my life.
As Slick Bailey, fox-faced, sharp-eyed, enters the bedroom, smiling cheerfully, Bruce Wayne gazes from him to the telltale wall panel in dismay. Clark Kent, moving instinctively, his mind racing desperately, takes one long step to the wall and turns with his back against the panel. His tall figure and broad shoulders almost hide it.
Sorry I made a nuisance of myself when you were here before, Mr. Bailey.
Oh, that's okay, Mr. Kent. I already checked the living room walls. I'll just go over to the bedroom now, if you don't mind.
Look, I never saw a painter tap on the walls like that. What's the idea?
Oh, I'm looking for cracks.
Well, there aren't any cracks in my walls.
Well, you never can tell, Mr. Kent. Might be very slight under the paint, you know, and I have to make sure the walls are absolutely okay before I put my fireproof paint on.
Well, how do you expect to find cracks under the paint, Mr. Bailey?
Well, the sound when I tap them tells me if the walls are solid.
Oh.
Do you mind moving a little bit so I can have a look at this panel, Mr. Kent?
Oh, don't bother. I know this wall is solid, Mr. Bailey.
Well, I want to see for myself.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, listen. How do you like that, Mr. Bailey? You can't tell me this wall isn't good and solid.
It certainly is.
Yeah. Well, that panel sounds okay. Well, I'll have a look at the rest of the walls. And it'll take me long.
Oh, boy. Well, Bailey's gone, Clark.
It's out of my life, I hope, Bruce.
Oh, boy. I had a bad moment when he asked you to move away from that upside-down panel.
Maybe you think I didn't.
Well, I think all your troubles are over now, Clark.
I wish I could be certain of that.
You can. Because even if you're right, and Bailey is hunting for that secret closet, he didn't find it in this apartment.
No, that's true, but
So, QED, you can't be Superman.
Oh.
Come on, Clark. Let's go out and celebrate.
Tell you, Biggie, there's no secret closet in any apartment in the Maple Crest Arms.
There must be, Slick.
But there ain't. It went over every inch of every wall in every apartment. Willie Snyder must have met some other building.
No, he clearly said the Maple Crest Arms. And
He
besides...
was full of lead, dying. He could easily have made a mistake in the name of the building.
I know he didn't make a mistake. Because the cop who shot him caught him coming out the back entrance of the Maple Crest Arms.
Ah. Well, I can't figure it out.
You must have missed the secret closet.
I tell you, I didn't miss it. It just ain't there.
It must be. Snyder had Superman's own costume that he said he found in his closet. The closets can't just disappear.
I know, but...
Hey, wait. Maybe it did.
Huh?
Maybe the secret closet did disappear.
Well, how could that be, Biggie?
Look, Slick, suppose Superman noticed his costume was gone. He knew about Snyder being shot in the alley, so he could have figured Snyder contacted somebody before he died. And this somebody would check up on his story. So he got rid of the closet to throw us off his track.
Yeah, but how can he get rid of a closet?
How do I know? Maybe he bricked it up or moved the whole wall. He can do anything. Superman, you know.
Maybe you got something there, Biggie.
That must be the answer.
Well, if it is, we're stuck. That closet's all we've got to go by.
Maybe not. We know he lives in the Maple Crest.
We don't know for sure. I've been thinking, Biggie. Maybe some guy just had that costume around for a masquerade ball or something.
Would he keep it in a secret closet, and then when it was swiped, would he go to a lot of trouble and maybe a lot of expense to do away with the closet?
Oh, I guess not.
Of course he wouldn't, Slick. You see, a lot of guys have figured out Superman must have another identity. And this makes me sure of it. Now, all we have to do is find out his other identity, and we can sell our info to big-time operators for a fortune. Or we can use it ourselves.
Raymond, first we gotta find out.
I think I know how to find out.
Yeah, how?
Just leave it to me. First, though, I want a list of all the tenants in the Maple Crest Arms, and I want a little dope on them, how old they are, what they look like. You know, you can get that for me?
I guess so, but...
Okay, then get me that list, Slick, and hurry it up.
We'll be back in just a moment for the tense climax of today's episode. So keep listening.
Boys and girls, did you ever wonder what's in a name? Well, during the Middle Ages, men were known only by their first names. But soon there were so many Johns, Henrys, and Richards that it all became a little confusing. The town criers, therefore, went about proclaiming that all loyal citizens must choose last names which they and their whole families would bear and pass down to their children. Now, most of the men of that time were pretty busy and didn't have the patience to sit down and figure out fancy names for themselves. So some of them simply added the word son to their father's first name and became Mr. Johnson, Isaacson, Michelson, and so on. Many others took the name of their trade. The tailor of the town named himself Mr. Taylor. The gardener became Mr. Gardner. Well, the same thing happened to a fellow who was the blacksmith. When the town crier asked him what name he had chosen for himself, he said, "People hereabout call me Joseph the Smith. I shall take Smith as my surname. From now on, I shall be Joseph Smith." And that's how we got all the Joe Smiths today. Somebody way back in the ancestry of every Joe Smith was a blacksmith or a goldsmith. But there are lots of Americans named Smith whose names aren't so easy to recognize. For instance, there's Mr. Kovacs. His name means Smith in the native tongue of his Czechoslovakian ancestors. Mr. Kowalski's great-grandfather was a smithy in Poland. Schmidt is the German for Smith. And Kuznetsky is Russian for the same thing. Kovacs, Kowalski, Schmidt, Kuznetsky, they all mean the same thing. Just plain Joe Smith, American.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. As we continue, Biggie Conroy is poring over a list of the tenants in the Maple Crest Arms, the building in which Superman lives in his guise of reporter Clark Kent. Finally, with a triumphant grunt, the racket boss writes 3 names on a slip of paper and pushes the slip across the table to Slick Bailey.
Slick, one of those 3 guys is Superman.
Oh, yeah? Let's see, Biggie. George Abner Dean, apartment 3G. What makes you think he might be Superman?
He's young, a big fella, and he lives alone. Well, we know Superman is young and a big guy. I figure he'd be living alone, too, keeping his secret.
Maybe.
Also, Dean teaches English in Metropolis University. A nice, quiet school teacher would be a good thing for Superman to be, if he didn't want anyone to suspect who he really was. You get?
Yeah. How about this next guy, Philip Marshall, apartment 5K? Why'd you pick him?
Same reasons I picked Dean. Marshall's young, big, and a bachelor. Also, the dope you got on him says he travels a lot.
So what?
Superman travels a lot, too, don't he?
Yeah. Man, that kind of adds up. Up your what in this last guy, though, Biggie?
You mean this guy, Clark Kent?
Yeah, I could scratch him out right now.
How come?
He's a panty waste. He said he didn't want his apartment painted because the smell makes him sick. I am allergic to the smell of paint, he said. Then he throws a fit. Goes off his nuts.
Are you kidding?
No. Passed right out in a faint. I even had to help get him in a bed. A friend of his who was there says Kent often gets like that, so you can forget him.
I don't know about that.
How about I tell you, the guy's a weak sister and a screwball. He couldn't be Superman.
He might have been putting on an act.
An act?
Sure, to fool you, so you'd go away saying he couldn't be Superman.
Ah, go on. You think he could be our guy?
Could be, considering this other stuff I got on him.
What other stuff?
Well, he's a reporter on the Daily Planet. That's the paper that always gets the stories on Superman first, you know.
That's right.
And Clark Kent gets most of the scoops on Superman.
He does, huh? Hey, maybe he is our guy, Biggie.
Now, take it easy, Slick. I'm sure one of these three guys is. George Dean, or Philip Marshall, or Clark Kent. And I know how to find out which one is.
How?
Get your hat and come along with me. Before the day is over, we'll know who Superman is. And then, the sky's the limit for us, Slick. Come on.
Followed by the eager Slick Bailey, Biggie Conroy leads the way from his house. On his way, he says, to discover Superman's double identity. As we know, one of the names on Conroy's list, Clark Kent, is Superman. What is the racket boss' plan to prove it? And will he succeed? We'll see Conroy in action in tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls. So don't miss it. Tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 11 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, Superman is in great danger, as two unscrupulous men who are on the verge of discovering his double identity set a trap for the Man of Steel.
See, Slick, I'm sure one of these three men, George Dean, Philip Marshall, or Clark Kent, is Superman. And I think I know how to find out which one it is.
Yeah, Biggie? How?
I'll show you. Get your hat and come with me. And before the night is over, we'll know who Superman is.
Those among you, gang, who are or have been Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts know and understand the importance of preparedness, the wisdom of being ready in advance for anything that may happen. And in a great and large country such as ours, many things can and do happen. Disastrous occurrences that strike without warning. Floods, explosions, devastating fires, mine cave-ins, tornadoes, epidemics. All things that take great toll of human life, and which, in most instances, would be even more catastrophic if it were not for a wonderful organization that always stands prepared to bring relief to the suffering, solace to bereaved survivors, and comfort to all concerned. That organization is the splendid American Red Cross.
Whenever disaster in any form strikes a community, anywhere in the United States, the Red Cross goes immediately into action. During the emergency, the Red Cross provides basic needs such as food, shelter, clothing, and medical care. Later, it assists in rehabilitation and provides further help for victims of a disaster by assisting in repairing and rebuilding homes, supplying household furniture and equipment, and further provides long-term medical and nursing care. Assistance of this kind is provided by the Red Cross to all people, regardless of race, religion, or color. For the Red Cross stands ready and willing to provide assistance to humanity. But that gang costs a good deal of money, which is why the Red Cross conducts an annual drive for funds. Remind your mother and your father to contribute generously. Don't neglect to make contributions yourself. Keep in mind that no one knows where disaster will strike. So a contribution to the Red Cross is insurance for your own future welfare.
And now, the adventures of Superman. When a dying ex-convict revealed to Biggie Conroy, a big-time racketeer, that he had accidentally discovered and stolen Superman's costume from a secret closet in an apartment in the Maple Crest Arms, Conroy reasoned that Superman must have another identity. And visualizing a fortune for himself if he could uncover this great secret, he had a henchman named Slick Bailey pose as a painting contractor and enter all the 84 apartments in the Maple Crest Arms to search for the secret closet. Suspicious of Bailey, Clark Kent, who is Superman, bricked up his secret closet and so avoided exposure. But suspecting what may have occurred, Conroy collected information on every tenant in the building, and after some study decided that one of three men, Clark Kent included, is Superman. Now, having formulated a plan, Conroy and Slick Bailey drive to the Maple Crest Arms. And as we join them, they are walking along the third-floor corridor.
Let's see, apartment 3F. Now we want the next one, Slick. 3G. Here we are.
Yeah, the card under the bell says George Abner Dean.
Right. Now we'll find out if this guy is Superman. Ring the bell.
Wait. Tell me first what you're going to do. To find out, I mean.
Never mind. Just keep your eyes open and you'll see. All you got to remember is I'm your partner, see? And we come to find out what color this guy wants his apartment painted.
Yeah, okay. Only
what?
Well, supposing this guy is Superman, if he finds out we're onto him, he might get sore and do something to us.
Don't worry, he won't know. Now ring the bell.
Okay. Maybe he ain't home.
He's home, all right. Do your stuff.
Yes?
Mr. Dean, I'm Bailey, the painting contractor. I was here the other morning looking over your walls, remember?
Oh, yes. Come in.
Thanks. I brought my partner along. We got to know what colors you want, see? And he's an expert on this new fireproof paint.
Oh, well...
Mr. Conroy, Mr. Dean.
How'd you do?
Glad to know you, Mr. Dean. We're going to give you a first-class job here. What's the matter, Mr. Dean? Did I shake your hand too hard?
Why, I seem to have cut it.
Cut your hand?
Yes. You see, it's bleeding slightly.
Well, now, how did that happen?
Say, that must have been my ring. It's got a rough edge here. See where the stone is set in?
Oh, yes.
I've been meaning to get that fixed. I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Dean. You got some iodine around?
Oh, that's all right. It's just a scratch.
You got to be careful of scratches, though.
Yeah, you might get it affected or something.
I'll take care of it later. Right now, I'm expecting some friends in, so let's decide about the painting.
Okay.
Whatever you say, Mr. Dean.
You said you wanted to know what color I wanted my apartment painted?
Yeah.
That's right. You see, with this new fireproof paint we're using, we got to order the colors pretty far in advance.
Oh, well, I think the color I have now is all right.
Make a note of that, Bailey.
Right.
We'll be going there, Mr. Dean.
Oh, wait.
I'm much obliged, Mr. Dean, and I'm sorry again about scratching your hand.
Forget it. Good night.
Good night. Come on, Bailey. Well, Slick, we can scratch Dean off the list.
How do you know, Biggie? I thought you were going to make some kind of a test.
I did.
You did?
Sure. Didn't you see me cut his hand with my ring?
Well, yeah, but what kind of a test is that?
Don't you get it? Superman's skin is like steel.
It is?
Sure, it can't be cut. Haven't you read 1,000 times on knives and even bullets just bounce off him?
Hey, that's right. Boy, I got to hand it to you, Big. You got a head on you.
You're just waking up to that, eh?
Well, no, but...
All right, skip it. See, now, the second guy on the list is Philip Marshall, apartment 5K. Come on, we'll walk up these two flights.
Okay.
Now we find out if either Marshall or Clark Kent is Superman.
Mr. Marshall, I'd like you to meet my partner, Mr. Conroy, Mr. Marshall.
How do you do, Mr. Conroy?
I'm sure glad to know you, Mr. Marshall.
Ow!
Excuse me, Mr. Marshall. I guess I shook your hand too hard.
Something cut me.
Cut you?
Yes. See, my finger's bleeding.
What do you know?
That leaves him.
Say, I'm awful sorry, Mr. Marshall. It must have been my ring. It's got a rough edge on it, see? You better put some iodine on it right away.
Look, Biggie, what did we come outside for?
Try it, Slick. I gotta think.
About what? Dean ain't Superman, and neither is Marshall. So if you're right in your figuring, Clark Kent must be.
Yeah, sure. Just the same.
Look, let's go up to his apartment and make sure. You give him the ring treatment.
No, I can't do that, Slick.
Why not?
But Kent's a newspaper reporter.
I know, so what?
So in case you've forgotten, I used to be pretty big stuff in this town. Before Perry White got elected mayor and cracked down on all my rackets. Chances are Kent will recognize me.
Oh, I get it.
Let's see.
Look, give me the ring. I'll go up and make the test on him.
No. Hey, I got an idea.
Yeah? Like what?
Come on over to that drugstore in the corner. I know how to handle this.
What is Biggie Conroy's new plan to discover whether or not Clark Kent is Superman? We'll be back in a moment with the tense climax of today's episode, so keep listening.
Before we continue, gang, let me say just a few more words on behalf of the American Red Cross, that splendid organization of unselfish workers whose only aim is to minimize loss of human life and provide simple creature comforts whenever and wherever such comforts are lacking. As President Truman so aptly put it, many times a year the people turn to the Red Cross. Once a year, the Red Cross turns to the people. Well, that time is now. Earlier in this program, I told you how the Red Cross functions in time of disaster. But I think you should know that the Red Cross works not only when disaster strikes, but all the time. Its services being many and varied. For instance, in addition to the Red Cross Disaster Service, there is the work of this wonderful organization on behalf of the National Blood Program, which accumulates a blood bank and provides plasma free of charge to patients who require transfusion. Then there is the Red Cross Nursing Service, which provides nursing care in the home to people who cannot afford private services of this kind, trains housewives to be practical nurses, and assists in the work of public health departments. The Red Cross serves veterans, too, in hospitals and at home. It also provides assistance in hospitals of the armed forces and brings cheer and comfort to men in army camps. But in all it does to help others, the Red Cross depends on you and me to help it, because its services cost a good deal of money per year. And without our support, the work of the Red Cross could not go on. So help the Red Cross to help others. Make your contributions early and often through the Red Cross Fund Campaign.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. Unaware of the new plot against him, Clark Kent is in his apartment, where we find him speaking with cub reporter Jimmy Olsen, who has just arrived.
Oh, nice of you to drop in, Jim. What's on your mind?
Well, Mr. White and Miss Lane, all of us down at the office, we're worried about you, Mr. Kent.
Worried? About me? Why?
Well, you've been acting so strangely, sort of.
What do you mean?
Well, you've been so jumpy, like saying funny things that don't make sense, and right after that, contradicting what you said before.
Oh.
Mr. White and Miss Lane think you're sick, but, well, I think you've got something on your mind.
You're right, Jim. I did have something on my mind.
I knew it. Look, Mr. Kent, can you tell me or Mr. White?
Well...
You know we'll do anything we can to help you, whatever it is.
It's very nice of you, Jim, but I don't need any help. This, trouble is all over, I hope.
Oh, gee, that's swell. As a matter of fact, you do seem more like yourself this evening.
Yeah, I feel fine now. There's nothing like a bit of bricklaying to cure what ails you.
Bricklaying? What do you mean?
I'll tell you all about it sometime, Jim. Well, what's new at the office?
Well, nothing special. The police still haven't found Dr. Asa Bushmill, you know.
They haven't? That's odd. I was sure he'd been grabbed to operate on Willie Snyder, but Snyder was found dead in the park.
You mean that ex-con who shot the police officer?
Yes, the one who got my costume.
Got your what?
Well, he broke into my apartment, you know.
Why, no, you never did tell us what he stole, though.
Oh, it was just a garment.
Garment?
Sure, you know. Clothing, Jim.
Oh. Well, did he take much?
No, but... Uh-oh.
Oh, that's your doorbell. Just a minute. I'll answer it, Mr.
No, Jim, wait.
What's the matter?
I don't want either of us to answer the door.
Huh?
But you called out. He knows somebody's here.
Who knows?
Bailey, the phony painting contractor. He's at the door with another man.
See, how do you know who's at the door?
How do I... Well, I know. Oh, if only you hadn't called out. Now he won't go away.
Gosh, Mr. Kent, what's come over you again?
Well, apparently I didn't throw him completely off the track when I bricked up the closet, and now he's back to snoop around some more. Or maybe he does know the truth now, and...
The truth about what? Gee whiz, Mr. Kent, what's the matter?
Oh, this is terrible, Jim. I don't know what to do.
Uncertain, every keen sense telling him that Bailey means danger to him, Clark Kent stares from the door to Jimmy Olsen, who stares back at his friend, certain Kent has lost his mind. As we know, Slick Bailey does mean danger to Kent. Great danger. But Kent is now apparently trapped. What will happen? A great deal happens tomorrow, fellows and girls, so be sure to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 12 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, during the absence of Clark Kent, who is Superman, Cub reporter Jimmy Olsen reveals the reason for great concern in a confidential talk with Lois Lane.
Gosh, this is terrible, Miss Lane. I don't know what to do.
Why? What do you mean, Jim? What's wrong?
I just found out something about Mr. Kent.
About Clark?
Yeah. Well, you better take a deep breath, Miss Lane, because this is going to be a shock.
Johnny has a broken front tooth. Johnny has 2 freckles on his nose. All boys with a broken front tooth have 2 freckles on their noses. Sounds silly, doesn't it, gang? Yet that's how some people reason. How many times have you heard a man say, all the Irish have terrible tempers? Well, ask him how he came to that conclusion, and 9 chances out of 10 he'll say, well, Johnny has a temper and Johnny is Irish. So all Irish have tempers. Well, that sort of reasoning doesn't make much sense, boys and girls. Not any more sense than saying that all boys with a broken front tooth have 2 freckles on their noses. You see, gang, all people aren't ever anything. Why, with the exception of some scientific facts about the human body, there isn't a single sentence you could say that would apply to all people. Even when there is a rule that is pretty general about human nature, there are always some exceptions. But when you start to make rules about people of certain races, religions, or nationalities, you might as well stop before you start. It just can't be done. You see, characteristics that people have are the result of their own personal makeup and of their experiences. And, of course, they have very little to do with their race or religion. Some people of every group have bad tempers or are lazy or mean. On the other hand, some people of every race and religion are among those you would be lucky to have as your friends. Well, boys and girls, whenever you're tempted to say all instead of some, think twice and then say to yourself, Johnny has a broken front tooth. Johnny has 2 freckles on his nose. All boys with a broken front tooth have 2 freckles on their noses. Think how silly that sounds, and then think straight.
And now, the adventures of Superman. When a dying convict revealed to Biggie Conroy, a racketeer, that Superman lived in an apartment in the Maple Crest Arms, Conroy, realizing he could make a fortune if he could identify the Man of Steel, had a henchman pose as a painting contractor and search all the apartments in the Maple Crest Arms for a secret closet in which the convict had found Superman's costume. But Clark Kent, who is Superman, became suspicious of what was afoot and temporarily avoided exposure by breaking up the secret closet. By a clever ruse, Conroy then collected information on all the tenants in the building. He eliminated all whom he suspected of being Superman. That is, all but one, Clark Kent. As we continue now, 2 of Conroy's men have arrived at Kent's apartment with a plan to prove whether or not he is Superman. But as they ring the bell, Kent, who is talking with cub reporter Jimmy Olsen, probes the door with his X-ray vision and recognizes one of the men.
Uh-oh. Just a minute. I'll answer the door, Mr. Kent.
No, Jim, no. Come back here.
But somebody's at the door.
I know. It's Mr. Bailey.
Who?
Bailey, that phony painting contractor, and another man. They came back to...
How do you know?
Never mind that. I know Bailey means danger to me, Jim. Great danger.
Danger? To you?
Yes. I think Bailey suspects who I am, and he's going to try to prove it.
What do you mean, he suspects who you are?
Oh, I mean...
Look, Mr. Kent, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I'm going to answer the door.
No, Jim, no. Now, wait till I get into the bedroom. Then let Bailey in. Tell him I'm away.
But what am I supposed to be doing here?
You? You're staying with me. Now, go on, do as I say, Jim. It's important. Terribly important.
Oh, gee whiz. Okay, I'm coming. I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
Too bad I have to bother you again.
I'm Bailey's partner, Mr. Kent. They're glad to meet you.
Danny, he ain't Kent.
Ouch! My hand.
You say he ain't Kent?
No.
Gosh, look at my hand. It's bleeding.
Oh, it's just a scratch, kid. I must have done it with my ring. See, it's kind of rough here.
You ought to be more careful.
Sure he should. Look, buddy, we got the contract to paint these apartments. We want to ask Mr. Kent what color he wants on the walls. Is he here?
No, he's out.
Oh, when'll he be back?
I don't know.
You don't know, huh? Well, what do we do now, Bailey?
Well, as long as we're here, I'll have another look at the walls in the bedroom. I just remembered there's one panel I didn't get a good look at yesterday.
No, don't go in there.
I'll only be a minute.
No, wait.
Just want to see that one panel.
Holy smokes. He isn't here.
Huh? What'd you say, kid?
Nothing.
I was right. There ain't anything behind these walls. Not now, anyways. Tell Mr. Kent we'll check with him about the colors later, buddy.
Okay, mister.
Let's go, Danny.
Sorry I scratched your hand, kid.
Oh, that's all right. Mr. Kent. Mr. Kent. They're gone. You can come out of the clothes closet now. Mr. Kent. Wait. He isn't here.
Here I am, Jim.
What the... Where were you, Mr. Kent?
Oh, I was just outside.
Outside?
Uh-huh.
Quit your kidding. You must have been hiding under the bed.
No, I wasn't, but...
Look, I don't get it. Why were you hiding from those men? They're just painters.
Are they? I noticed Bailey had another look for the secret closet. Good thing I set the panel right side up again.
What is all this about panels and secret closets? Gee whiz, Mr. Kent, do you feel all right?
No, I certainly do not.
Oh, I thought so. Look, you better lie down. I'll call a doctor.
No, this is no job for a doctor.
But you said you didn't feel well.
I don't, but a doctor can't help me. No, I've got to think, Jim, and it's too late. Put some iodine on that scratch and go home, will you? I'll see you in the morning.
All these painters wanted to know was what colors Mr. Kent wanted his walls painted.
Yes?
But he insisted the men were dangerous, and he hid under the bed.
He hid under the bed?
Uh-huh. And after they'd gone, he said they'd come to look for his secret closet.
His secret closet?
That's what he said. He said a lot of other goofy things, too, like they wanted to see if they could draw his blood.
What?
No kidding. Golly, I hate to say it, Miss Lane, but, well, I think Mr. Kent is sick in the head.
I've known there was something wrong with Clark for several days, Jim. He's been acting so strangely.
And how? I wanted to call a doctor last night, but he wouldn't let me. He said a doctor couldn't help him.
That's what he told me the day before.
Look, we've got to do something before he gets into serious trouble.
I know. Wait a minute, Jim. I saw him go into his office just a few minutes ago. I'm going to try and talk to him. You wait here. Now, look, Clark. You know I'm your friend, don't you?
Sure, of course I do, Lois.
Well, all right, then. Then I want you to listen to me. Look, Clark, I know of a very nice little, well, it's kind of a rest home up in the
Great
mountains.
Scott, Lois. Wait.
Huh? What's the matter?
He just came in.
Who came in? Where?
The big fellow who was with Bailey last night.
What?
Just came into the city room.
Clark.
Talking to Beanie now. Oh, Beanie's pointing to this office.
Clark, will you stop it? How can you see into the city room?
Must have some new trick up his sleeve.
Clark, for heaven's sake, will you get control of
Can't
yourself?
keep dodging them. They're bound to catch up with me sometime.
Clark, listen to me.
I've got to do something drastic and do it now. Fast!
Alarmed, Lois Lane can do nothing but stand helplessly by as Clark Kent rushes from his office and strides swiftly through the Daily Planet city room. What is he going to do? We'll be back in a moment for the climax of today's episode, so keep listening.
Nancy had a crush on one of the boys in the senior class, the one with the blonde hair and wonderful smile. Oh, it was a terrible crush, and the sad part about it was that Nancy didn't even know his name. In fact, she knew nothing about him except that he was very handsome and very popular and very witty, judging by all the attention he got. Well, finally, after months of hero worship from afar, the great day came. Nancy was invited to a party. And there he was. Excitedly, she nudged her girlfriend and whispered, "Who's that cute fellow over there?" "Oh," answered her friend, "that's Chris Ingeberg. He's president of the Norwegian Boys Club. Come on, I'll introduce you." Well, Nancy's face dropped a mile in disappointment. "Never mind," she said sadly. "No point in meeting him. He's Norwegian, and I can't stand Norwegian." Well, gang, did you ever hear anything that made less sense? For weeks, while Nancy didn't know the national background of the boy, she thought he was wonderful. But once she found out he was Norwegian, she immediately decided she didn't like him. Well, that, boys and girls, is just plain dumb. You wouldn't like it very much if the guys from the next block decided they didn't like you because you lived on a different block. Hey, you'd object. You fellas don't know anything about what I'm really like. How can you say that you don't like me just because I live on a certain block? Well, plenty of kids in this block are really swell guys. And plenty of kids in every racial, religious, and national groups are swell, too. Boys and girls, make up your mind about others by getting to know them individually. That's the only way you'll find out what really makes them tick.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. As we continue now, Clark Kent, in his true identity of Superman, has streaked to the home of his friend, the famous Batman.
Say what you want, Batman, but now I'm positive that fellow Bailey suspects I'm Clark Kent and is out to prove it.
How can you be positive, Superman?
For one thing, he said he's a painting contractor. But there's no painting contractor named Bailey listed in the Metropolis telephone directory.
I see.
Secondly, he had another look for my secret closet last night.
Really?
Yes. While it might have been an accident, the fellow who was with him, a gorilla if I ever saw one, cut Jim's finger with his ring while he was shaking hands, apparently under the impression Jim was Clark Kent.
So? What does that prove?
Well, he may have been trying to find out if my skin is impenetrable.
Well, that's a pretty tall assumption, isn't it?
Is it? When Herbert Calkins, our Scotland Yard friend, suspected my double identity, he tried the same trick, remember?
Say, that's right.
Well, I can't keep dodging these fellas, Batman. They suspect Kent and Superman are one, and they won't let go until they prove it. And when that happens, I'm a cooked goose.
I know, but what can you do?
Only one thing. Get rid of them.
Get rid of them?
Right.
What, you can't be...
I've got a plan, and if it works, they'll never bother me again. Now, can I count on you to help me?
Of course you can. You can count on Robin, too. But look...
This may be dangerous, Batman. Very dangerous.
In case you've forgotten, Danger is my middle name, and Robin's, too.
Good.
Now, what have you cooked up?
You remember Clifftown Village? We went trout fishing up there one time.
Clifftown Village?
Yes, you
remember.
remember.
Oh, yes, up in the Blue Hills, isn't it?
That's right. Well, about a half mile below the village, there's a sharp bend in the road. An old orchard is on one side with a brick wall around it. Just above it is Dr. McIntosh's house. Get the picture?
Yes, but I don't see what you're driving.
I want you to meet me let's see. It's now 10:15. It's about 3 hours' drive up there. You and Robin meet me below the village at the bend in the road at 1:30 this afternoon, okay?
Well, yes, but
now, don't come as Batman and Robin, and don't drive your Batmobile. Just come in an ordinary car as Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. Get that?
Sure, but I wish you'd tell me what you're up to.
Not now. You'd only put up an argument, and besides, I haven't another minute. I've got things to do. Oh, just one more thing, Batman.
Yes?
Don't be surprised at anything you see.
Hey, this sounds intriguing, Superman.
It is. If only it works. Well, I've got to go now. Mind if I leave through your window?
Help yourself.
Okay, thanks. Now, I can count on you and Robin to be there at 1:30.
You can count on us, chum.
Good. And remember, don't be surprised at anything. Now, up, and away!
Leaping from Batman's window into the sky, Superman streaks away on his mysterious mission. What is his plan to prevent Biggie Conroy and his criminal followers from revealing his double identity? And why did he warn Batman to be prepared for any surprise and for danger? There are more thrills in tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls, so be sure to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, for Chapter 13 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, Slick Bailey, lieutenant of Biggie Conroy, the racketeer, drives a car filled with rough-looking men through the Blue Hills on an errand which bodes ill for Clark Kent, who is Superman.
Where are we going, Slick?
We're going to pay a little call on a guy named Clark Kent.
What for?
Well, Biggie Conroy's got an idea Kent is somebody else, see? So we're going to check up on him.
Yeah? Well, who does Biggie think Kent is?
That's a secret, Danny. But if Biggie is right, we'll be able to light our cigars with $1,000 bills and get away with murder.
Boys and girls, the life of an expert helicopter pilot is all too often a chilly one, outlined in ice, blizzards, and knifing winds. So when Lieutenant Dave Gershowitz of the United States Coast Guard was told that his new assignment was in the South, his happy smile became as warm as the sun he was anticipating. Visions of palm trees and bathing beauties floated through the famous pilot's head as he asked his commanding officer, "How far south do I go, Skipper?" "Plenty far," was the answer. "To North Carolina, and then on to the South Pole with Admiral Byrd." "What?" exploded Gershowitz. "I was thinking of Florida." "But I wasn't," laughed his commander. "Byrd wants to try helicopters for polar flights in Little America and asked me for my best man. You're it. Good luck, Dave." And that is how Lieutenant Dave Gershowitz found himself aboard the Coast Guard cutter North Wind. To get to the frozen wastes of Little America, it was necessary to penetrate the ice packs, and that was where the helicopters came in. Day after day, on 24-hour duty, 3 pilots took off in turn. Through a blanket of fog, over jagged ice, they flew ahead of the caravan of ships, seeking narrow passages through the ice that would make safe steering for the following ships. Yes, Lieutenant Gershowitz was finally in the South, in fact, the most southerly part of the world,
And he lived and froze there all through the Antarctic summer, while the temperature ranged from 29 below to 15 above. So, gang, hats off to the brave helicopter pilots whose daring contributed so much to the success of the bird expedition.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Having reason to suspect that reporter Clark Kent is really Superman, a big-time racketeer named Biggie Conroy set out to prove it, realizing he could make a fortune from the underworld if he was right. But Kent sensed what was going on and narrowly avoided several traps which Conroy set for him. Aware, however, that he might be exposed eventually, he put into effect a plan of his own. And that afternoon, Conroy read in the papers that Kent had been seriously injured in an automobile accident and was near death in a small upstate village. Suspicious that Kent was faking, in order to convince him he was not Superman, Conroy sent a squad of tough henchmen to seize the reporter and bring him to the racketeers' headquarters. Then, Conroy said, he could definitely prove whether or not Kent and Superman were one and the same person. Now, heavily bandaged from head to toe, Kent lies in a room in the home of a Dr. McIntosh in the tiny village of Clifftown. He looks up eagerly as the famous Batman in his guise of Bruce Wayne enters the room.
Well, Bruce?
So far, so good, Clark.
Good.
I had a tough time getting rid of your friends Perry White, Lois Lane, and Jim Olson.
Uh-oh.
Especially White. He wanted to get every medical specialist in the country out here.
He would. Sorry we can't tell them the truth and stop them from worrying about me.
We can't tell anybody if we're to put this over.
Oh, I know.
Now, look, are you sure we can trust Dr. McIntosh not to spill the beans, Clark?
Oh, positive. You see, I was able to do him a good turn one time, and he appreciates it. That's why I arranged this little show up here.
I see.
What about the publicity? How's that going?
Swell. You made page one on every metropolis paper, and most of the radio news broadcasts reported your accident.
Good. Well, then Mr. Bailey and his crowd, whoever they are, should know about it by now.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Now, if only they fall for it.
Don't worry, Clark. They will. All the reports say you're near death. So you can't be Superman.
Well, that's just what I want them to say.
Clark, I really take my hat off to you. This was really a clever stunt.
Thanks, but that fellow Bailey, or whoever's behind him, is pretty clever too, Bruce. They almost had the goods on me a couple of times.
Don't I know it? But I'm sure you've lost them for good this time.
I hope so. Oh, say, look, you and Robin are going to stick around here, aren't you?
Naturally.
Good. I'd feel better if you had some more support, though.
More support?
Yeah.
What for?
Well, just in case friend Bailey gets any bright ideas and comes sashaying up here.
Oh, he won't bother.
Maybe. But I'd still feel better if you and Robin had a few husky police officers behind you, because you know I can't lend a hand without giving the show away.
Forget it, Clark. In the first place, the police force in this village consists of one constable, age about 75.
Uh-oh.
And in the second place, if we called in reinforcements from outside, said reinforcements would naturally ask questions.
Yeah, that's right. Questions we don't care to answer.
Check. So just relax, chum.
Yeah.
I say Bailey and company won't show up. But if they should, well, Robin and I aren't exactly pushovers, you know.
Oh, I know, but...
I tell you, forget it, Clark. Everything's going to be okay. Just relax.
Well...
I'm going outside and join Robin now. I'll see you later. Dick. Dick, where are you?
Easy, Bruce.
What's up? Where are you?
Over here. Driveway.
Oh, yeah, I see you.
Come on over here. Watch it.
What gives, Dick?
Maybe something. Maybe nothing.
What does that mean?
A car passed here twice in the last few minutes. Each time it slowed down to a walk in front of this house, and the boys looked the place over.
What boys?
Gorillas in the car. I couldn't see too clearly, but there seemed to be a bunch of them.
Where's the car now?
It went on down the street. Wait. I think that's it, coming back. Yes, it had yellow fog lamps.
Yeah, this car has too.
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh, stopping in front of the house.
Yeah, looks as if we're going to get company, Bruce.
Could be. Quick, strip down to your Robin costume, just in case they spell trouble.
My idea exactly.
Yeah, stay behind these bushes.
All right. Here they come. Oh, brother, count them.
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
And here comes another one. Oh, lucky 7.
Big boys, too.
Well, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Well, here they come. You all set, Robin?
All set, Batman. Now, what do we do, sail in first and ask questions later?
No. They may be just coming to see Dr. McIntosh, you know.
Oh, all 7 of them?
Well, look who's with him.
Somebody you know?
Yeah, that skinny fella. He's Bailey, the phony painting contractor. Now I know this is trouble, Robin.
Okay, what are we waiting for?
Oh, just a minute. Looking for somebody, gentlemen?
Huh? Who are you? The doctor's secretary. The doctor is out this evening. Any messages for him? Just 2 guys. Go get him, boys. Okay.
Up and at him, Robin.
I'm right with you, Bobby. Hello, sweetheart. Haven't we met before?
Try this.
Oh, naughty. Your chin is shiny.
Go on, Robin. Watch the birdie.
Attaboy, Batman.
Swinging, Robin.
What's the matter with you guys? Danny, you know what to do. Okay.
Where are you going, big boy? Robin, look out behind you. He's got a blackjack.
Where is it?
Rats, I'll fix you for that.
Now, Danny, now.
Okay, swing.
Nice going, Danny.
Thanks.
Takes care of both of them.
Slugged by blackjacks, Batman and Robin fall to the dark, trampled lawn, unconscious. With Superman seemingly unable to help them, what will happen now? We'll be back in a moment to find out, so keep listening.
Gang, I'm sure a lot of you have been saying, I don't believe in prejudice and discrimination, but what can I do to fight it? That's a pretty important question, because prejudice can only be beaten if we all get in there and fight. So here are some suggestions as to what you can do in your town. First of all, get a bunch of your friends together, those who feel the same way you do about fighting prejudice, and organize a campaign. Enlist the support of your community to back your plan. Clergymen, parent-teacher organizations, youth councils, and newspapers are only a few of the groups that will probably be glad to give you help. Then you swing into action. A lot depends upon what part of the country you live in. But here are some examples of specific things you can do. If a popular soda fountain or candy store doesn't serve Negroes or Mexicans or Japanese Americans, or does so very ungraciously, have a talk with the proprietor. Tell him how your crowd and the townspeople backing you feel about his discrimination. He's very apt to make some changes mighty quick. Then do everything possible to get players on your team solely on the basis of whether or not they are good athletes and good sports, regardless of race, creed, or color. What's more, see to it that anybody on the team who looks down his nose at someone else's race, religion, or ancestry just takes a walk. Because that kind of a guy, though he may be a good athlete, doesn't make the grade as a good sport. The important thing, gang, is to get together and start the ball rolling. Give it that first push, just one push, and you'll find that prejudice will be bowled over.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. Engaging in a furious fight with Slick Bailey and half a dozen husky toughs on the lawn before Dr. McIntosh's house, Batman and Robin were slugged with blackjacks and knocked out. As we join them now, they are just regaining consciousness on the dark, otherwise deserted lawn.
Robin.
Is that you, Batman?
Yeah, you all right?
Oh, I guess so. Except my head feels like a pumpkin with pinwheels going around inside. Phew. What happened?
We were in a fight. Don't you remember?
Oh, yes. Bailey and his guerrillas. Hey, what happened to them?
I guess they're gone.
Oh, boy, was I a dope for getting in the way of a blackjack.
Yeah, me too. Holy smokes.
What, Batman?
Up on your feet, chum. Hurry.
Oh, my head. What's the matter? Did our friends come back?
No, but I just remembered. Clark.
Who?
Clark Kent. We left him inside the house. Come on. Here's Kent's room, Robin.
Well, hurry up, Batman. Open the door.
Okay.
The room is dark.
Clark! Clark!
Where's the light switch?
It should be on this wall. Here, I've got it. Great snakes.
What the...
Kent's gone, Robin. He's gone.
But where?
Bailey and his gang must have taken him away with them.
Jeepers.
And if I'm right, Robin, I'm afraid this is the end of Superman.
Dismayed, Batman stares at the empty bed, where Clark Kent had lain wrapped in bandages, unable to come to the aid of his friends, or even to escape without revealing that he is Superman. Has Kent been taken away by Slick Bailey and his followers, as ordered by Biggie Conroy? Will the cunning racketeer now be able to prove what he suspects, that Kent and Superman are one and the same person? What will happen? The moment has never been more tense, gang, so be sure to listen tomorrow. Yes, don't forget to tune in again tomorrow, same time, same station, for Chapter 15 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, with Clark Kent missing, the famous Batman makes an alarming prophecy to Robin, his young companion. Robin, I think Slick Bailey took Kent away. And if I'm right, then...
What then, Dutton?
Then, well, this may be the end of Superman.
Here's a little story, gang, that's almost guaranteed to make you laugh. I know it panicked me when I first heard it. It's a story about a tea that was given in New York recently to honor a visiting Chinese scholar. The committee that arranged the party, assuming that the foreign scholar would be unable to speak English, was somewhat disturbed until one of them remembered a prominent American author who had written many articles about Chinatown. As a matter of fact, one man said, I have heard him rattle off Chinese as if it were his mother tongue. So the author was invited to the tea. And as soon as the visiting scholar appeared, they were introduced. All the guests at the party gathered round to watch with interest as the American bowed, then rattled off everything he had learned in his contact with Chinatown residents. The Chinese listened politely. He even registered great interest in what the author was saying. When the American had finished speaking, the scholar bowed gravely. Then, in perfect English, he said, I am grateful for your attempt to make me feel at home by speaking to me in my native tongue. Of course, everyone was astounded to hear him say that. They were, however, shocked and very much amused when asked what the American author had said to him. He smiled and answered, as nearly as I can translate his speech, it went like this. Good morning. How are you? I am well, thank you. Some babe, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A lobster canton style, please. Thank you. Goodbye. Happy New York. Down the hatch. Well, of course, everyone had a good laugh. And no wonder, because it was funny. But it also taught a lesson which we'll discuss a little later in the program. So keep listening.
and perhaps other members of the underworld suspected that he was Superman and were making efforts to prove it, Clark Kent hit on a scheme which he hoped would throw them off the track. Pretending to be seriously injured in an automobile accident, Kent stayed in bed in the village home of a doctor friend, while the famous Batman and Robin stood guard. But Biggie Conroy, the cunning racketeer who was directing the plan to unmask Superman, was suspicious of Kent's ruse and sent a gang of husky followers to the scene with instructions to seize Kent and bring him in. Batman and Robin put up a fierce fight against Conroy's gang, but were finally knocked out. And now, a few minutes later, they have regained consciousness and have discovered that Kent is no longer in the house.
Bailey and his gang must have taken Kent away with them, Robin.
Holy smokes.
Come on out to the car. We've got to go after them.
Well, wait, Batman. How can we go after them? We don't know which way they went.
Look, you saw them drive up. Which way did they come from?
Oh, from that direction, the Metropolis way.
And the chances are they went back that same way. Come on, into the car.
Can't you get any more speed out of this wagon, Batman?
Oh, blast it. If only Kent hadn't made me leave our Batmobile at home.
Yeah, if. Listen, what did you mean before when you said this might be the end of Superman?
Robin, there's only one secret I've ever kept from you. That's it. So be a good fella and don't ask questions.
Okay, Pat.
Now keep your eyes peeled. Maybe you can pick up their lights on a curve.
I've been trying, but all I can see are dark mountains.
Okay. Now hang on, Robin.
Hey, what are you turning off the road for?
I remember there was a shortcut in here somewhere that goes down to the highway. I'm hoping this is it. Now hang on. Look, Robin. There's the good old highway below.
Oh, hot dog. This old shortcut paid off, even if it did jar my back teeth loose. Hey, but now we are in a fix.
What do you mean?
We don't know if Bailey's car with Mr. Kent is behind us or ahead of us, or if it even came this way at all.
Well, if it came from Metropolis, chances are it went back there. And with the start it had, it ought to be ahead of where we are now, because the shortcut only saved a few miles.
Fair reasoning, if only it works out that way.
And we'll find out, I hope. Now sit tight. Here's the highway. Now, see anything?
Nope. Oh, wait. Just coming out of that curve up ahead. Now, there's a car.
Well, Bailey's car had 2 yellow fog lights. Can you make them out?
No, I can only see the back of the car now. Wait, the road is curving again.
Well?
Just a sec. Yes, it's got yellow fog lights, all right. That's our baby, Batman.
Well, here's hoping.
Oh, a step on it. They're pulling away from us.
They've got a faster car. Good thing there's so many curves in this road.
Oh, what's good about that?
We can pick up a little time by hitting into them full throttle. Now, hang on to your hat, chum. This is going to be a wild ride.
What time is it now, Chopin?
It's 11 o'clock, Biggie.
Yeah, Slick and the boys should have been here with Clark Kent by now. Wonder what's holding them up.
Oh, don't get yourself all worked up, Biggie. You're pulling all the buttons off your vest. Why do you do that?
Because I'm nervous, that's why. Look, Chopin, play me something on the piano, huh? Something that'll kind of quiet me down.
Yeah, sure, okay, Biggie. What'll you have this time, huh?
I don't care. Anything. Just get a beat in it.
Ah, you know me, pal. Sit back now and get a load of this. How's that, Biggie?
It's okay. Good.
Hey, Biggie.
Yeah?
I've been thinking.
Well, cut it out. I don't keep you around to think. Just play.
Yeah, sure. But look, when Slick does bring Kent here, what are you going to do then? To find out if he's really Superman, I mean.
That's easy.
Yeah? Tell me how, Biggie. Come on, tell me.
You'll see soon enough. All I hope is that they didn't run into no trouble.
If you ask me, anybody that tangles with Superman is sure to run into trouble.
Well, nobody asked, Jaghead. So shut up.
Okay.
And stop playing that dopey number.
I thought you liked it.
Well, I'm already tired of it. Play me something else. Something more jump in it.
Yeah, sure, Biggie. Anything you say. How's this?
Yeah, that's okay.
Sure are nervous tonight.
Well, who wouldn't be? All the dough in the world just waiting to be picked up if I can prove Clark Kent is Superman.
Hey, Biggie.
Now what?
I've been thinking.
Again?
Yeah. Hey, look. Supposing Kent ain't Superman, but he's really hurt bad from that car accident, and now, after being dragged around, he dies on us. What happens then?
That wouldn't be so good, but we gotta take a chance.
Yeah, but that'd be a murder rap, wouldn't it?
Well, sure, but we gotta see that he don't die. We still got Dr. Bushmill here. He's one of the best doctors around.
Yeah, but I don't like keeping him around. Especially with all the cops in Metropolis looking for him.
Well, I don't like it either. We can't turn him loose on account of he knows too much. And I don't want to take a chance on getting rid of him till this Superman thing is out of the way. So we just gotta play it cagey till then.
But just the same, we...
All right, hold it, Chopin. That must be Slick.
Huh? Where?
At the door, you dope. Let him in.
Oh, okay. Hey, wait a minute, Biggie. That's the cops. Maybe they traced Dr. Bushmill here. Maybe...
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but it could be.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Open the door.
Trembling, the skinny, egg-headed piano player walks to the door as Biggie Conroy steps quickly to a desk and removes a revolver from a drawer. We'll be back in a moment for the tense climax of today's episode, so keep listening.
Well, gang, that little story we told you at the beginning of the program certainly showed that we shouldn't jump to conclusions about people. It just doesn't work. Because what people are and do is very much the result of the places they've lived in, the education they've had, and the kind of experiences they've gone through. For instance, a Chinese boy brought up in America speaks perfect English, eats with a knife and fork, and most likely has a crew cut. What's more, he may not know even a word of Chinese. On the other hand, an American boy brought up in China might speak perfect Chinese, eat with chopsticks, wear his hair long, and not speak English as well as Chinese. You see, you aren't born speaking a certain language or eating with a knife and fork or knowing that 2 and 2 make 4. Somebody had to teach you these things. You learn them by watching the people around you and learning from them. Well, it's the same with kids all over the world. If you had been born in a different land, you would talk and act just like the people there do, and not at all like an American. That's why it's so silly to hear someone say that he was born better than another person because of his nationality or race or religion. That's just a lot of hogwash and has absolutely nothing to do with the facts. Supposing that the fellow who thinks he was born better is well-educated, lives in a fancy house, and has nice clothes. So what? All that proves is that he was lucky enough to get the breaks. So, gang, next time you hear the born better talk going around, squash it before it can grow. You know the real facts. Spread them around. Tell them to others. It'll go a long way toward helping to make this a better world to live in.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. While Biggie Conroy stands by with a revolver in his huge hand, Chopin, his skinny piano player, opens the door. Then several men carrying a large burden walk into the room.
Hello, Slick.
Hiya, Biggie. What do you want this guy?
Holy smokes. Is that Clark Kent?
That ain't Little Red Riding Hood, Chopin.
Bring him over here and put him on the couch, boys.
Okay. Come on, fellas. Yeah. Oh, this guy is awful heavy, Biggie.
Rapers, look how he's all wrapped up in them bandages. Like one of them mummies he looks.
Sure, he was in an awful bad accident, huh, Biggie?
That's what we're gonna find out.
Okay. Let him down, guys. Oh. Yeah, that does it. Now, Biggie.
Just a minute, Slick. You and Chopin stay here. You other guys, take a walk for yourselves.
Okay, come on, Joe. Hey, listen, Biggie,
Shut up. Kent's awful quiet.
Is he still alive?
Let's see. Too many bandages on to feel his heart, but I can feel his pulse.
That's what I've been doing all the way here. It's good and strong, though.
Yeah. He's alive, all right. He's probably conscious, too.
Oh, he ain't, Biggie. You can see.
He could be faking, you know. How about it, Kent?
He don't answer.
No.
Well, if he really is Kent and is unconscious, he wouldn't answer. But if he's Superman and don't want us to know he is, he wouldn't answer either.
Yeah, that's right.
So how are we going to find out if he's Superman?
That's easy. Just watch me. We'll know in a minute.
Leaning forward tensely, Slick Bailey and Chopin watch Biggie Conroy as the racket boss prepares to determine if Clark Kent is really Superman. What can Superman do now to preserve the secret of his double identity from these criminals? Or if he makes a move to stop them, they'll know the truth. Never before was Superman in such a desperate plight, fellows and girls. Can you see anything he can do to avoid discovery when Batman and Robin, his only hope of rescue, are not here, where Superman needs them most? Whatever you do, don't miss tomorrow's thrilling episode, gang. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, same time, same station, for Chapter 16 of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at this same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, while pretending to be unconscious in the home of Biggie Conroy, the racket boss, Clark Kent realizes he is in a desperate plight as he hears Biggie say to his followers,
Men, I think Clark Kent is Superman. And I'm going to prove it right now. Just watch me.
Listen carefully now, gang, to what I'm about to say, because what you will hear is a warning. That's right, a warning designed to put you on the alert, so that you will be aware of a dangerous booby trap. Most of you, I'm sure, know what a booby trap is. But just to jog your memory, I'll tell you that a booby trap is a vicious, deadly device of war. It can be a phony flower pot, a pretty picture on the wall, a comfortable chair, just anything innocent-looking, but rigged and set to explode the moment it is touched by an unwary sucker. Yes, that's what they are in war. But ideas can be booby traps, too, believe me. You can fall victim to ideas that sound innocent enough when you hear them, but you find that they explode in your face if you attempt to use and apply them in your daily life. Now, one phony idea that any other person is not as good as you because of his race, his origin, or the way he worships God is a booby trap idea. It's a deadly explosive rigged by bigoted, prejudiced people with premeditated intent to set friend against friend, neighbor against neighbor. Yes, that booby trap idea can make a nation weak and a people divided. It can even lead to war. We know that that's true because we saw it happen when the German people fell for the phony booby trap idea of the master race. It certainly exploded in their faces, didn't it? Well, the same thing can happen to us if we fall for that stuff. So let's be on the alert against the phony ideas of racial prejudice and religious bigotry. The idea booby traps that are waiting for suckers to bite. Let's be aware of the danger and do our utmost to resist attempts to pit Americans against other Americans.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Believing that members of the underworld suspected he was Superman and were attempting to prove it,
tried to throw them off the track by pretending to be seriously injured in an automobile accident. But Biggie Conroy, the racketeer who was directing the move to unmask Superman, was suspicious of Kent's accident. And that night, as Kent lay wrapped in bandages and supposedly unconscious, a gang of Conroy's men overwhelmed Kent's friends, the famous Batman and Robin, and captured the reporter. Realizing that if he beat off the men, he would reveal his identity of Superman, Kent had no choice but to let them take him to Biggie Conroy's house, with his only hope that Batman and Robin would be able to trail him. Now, still wrapped in bandages and pretending to be unconscious, Kent lies on a couch in Biggie Conroy's living room. His mind races desperately, seeking for some escape, as he hears the big racket boss speak to Slick Bailey, a henchman, and Chopin, his piano-playing companion.
Maybe Kent is what he makes out to be, a newspaper reporter. But me, I think he's Superman. Here's where I prove it.
What do you want to do, Biggie?
Just keep your eyes open, Chopin, and you'll see.
Hey, what's the idea tonight, Biggie?
Can't you guess, Slick?
Well, no.
Neither can I.
Well, just watch me, boys. The minute we're going to find out for sure if Kent is Superman. Now I'm going to... Hey, what the...
Hey, that's the door.
Somebody's at the door.
Holy smokes, who can that be?
I don't care who it is. We can't let anybody in now. So be quiet. We'll make out like nobody's home.
Boy, I hope it ain't the cops, Biggie.
They should be the cops.
Oh, we got Dr. Bushman here, you know. If they traced him, they...
I think it's just one of the boys.
I don't care who it is, I tell you. We can't let anybody in. What the...
Hey, it is the cops, Biggie.
Let me think.
Biggie, I told you we should have got rid of Dr. Bushman. Now we got to kidnap him, right?
Maybe they found out we got Kent.
Yeah, that too.
Hey, quick, you guys. Help me stow Kent onto the sofa.
Yeah.
You're
right there looking for Biggie. They'll search the place.
Yeah, well, we'll have to take that chance. Here, under the couch with a push.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. If they find Bushman in the basement, we might get the chair.
This is your last chance. Open the door or do we break? Yeah, just a minute. That does it. Go on, Chopin. Play piano. Hurry up.
Yeah.
Oh, Slick, get that scared look off your face.
Okay.
They're coming. Sorry it took me so long to open the door, officer.
You're Conroy, aren't you?
Yeah, we didn't hear you at first. We were having a little party, a little music.
Yeah, that's right.
Close the door, Burke, and watch. Okay. You, stop beating that piano.
Yeah. Okay, cop.
Look here, officer. What's the idea of barging in like this? I'm a citizen. I pay my taxes.
Skip it, Conroy. In case you forgot, your pal Mike Hickey isn't running Metropolis anymore, so you can't kick the law around and get away with it like old time.
I don't know what you mean.
You shouldn't ought to say things like that.
No, we all obey the law.
Cut it out. Conroy, we spotted you on the drive a little while ago and trailed you here.
Trailed us?
There must be some mistake, officer. I've been right here all evening.
Cut it out, Conroy. I tell you, we trailed your car here. Up to this street, anyhow. We just identified the car in your driveway.
But I tell you, I wasn't out in my car.
That's right, officer. He was right here.
You can tell that to the judge.
The judge?
Yeah, we clocked you at 65 miles an hour on the drive. So here's your ticket for speeding.
Huh? For speeding?
Well, I'll be...
You mean that's all?
Shut up, Chopin.
Come on, Burke. Let's go.
How do you like that?
Oh, boy, I thought we was dead pigeons.
Me too. And all they wanted was to slip us a ticket for speeding.
Okay, enough comedy. Get back to Kent now. You guys help me get him out from under the sofa. Now, come on.
This is it, Robin. 1272 Adams Street. File out.
Okay, Batman. I hope this is the right place.
The license bureau said the car we followed and lost belongs to Biggie Conroy, the racketeer, didn't they?
Well, sure, but...
And this is Conroy's house. Come on, make like a mouse.
But Biggie Conroy didn't jump us in Clifftown and maybe take Mr. Kent away. It was Slick Bailey and his guerrillas.
Hasn't it occurred to you, Robin, that Bailey could be working for Biggie Conroy?
Hey, that could be. Conroy's a big operator.
And how? Hold it.
What's up?
Men coming from the garage.
See us here in the driveway.
Wait, get behind those bushes on the lawn. Yeah.
just two little kids.
Quiet, Robin.
Here they come, Batman.
Right. When I give the word up and at 'em, make it fast and quiet.
Jack.
Something went into these bushes.
Now, Robin.
Yeah, man.
What are you trying to You're on the sandman.
And I'm the little kid you saw. Feel my claws? Oh!
Nice going, Robin. They'll sleep for a while.
Oh, now what, Batman?
See that balcony on the second floor extending out over the driveway?
I'm practically on it right now. Wait till I get my rope.
Here goes mine.
Oh, bullseye. I'll loop the other post.
Good shot. Come on now. Shimmy up to the balcony.
Oh, check. Say, Batman.
Save your breath, Robin. Climb.
Yeah, but it just occurred to me. Oh, we took care of two gorillas just now, but there was a car full. Maybe we should have brought a few cops along so as not to hog the whole show ourselves, you know.
Don't know for sure that Kent is here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Up you come.
All set. Now we walk in and look for Kent.
That's a match. This French door's the... Yeah. Come on now, Robin. Quietly.
Okay.
What the...
Who turned the lights on?
We did, sonny boy.
Batman, they've got guns.
So I see. 3 of them.
Yeah, we got guns. So don't try nothing smart.
Dismayed, Batman and Robin face 3 hard-faced men, each of them holding a revolver. We'll be back in a moment for the tense climax of today's episode, so keep listening.
You know, gang, no one has much use for a blowhard. He's the kind of guy who's always full of hot air. He's got the right word for every occasion and is always set with a ready-made speech that rolls glibly off the tip of his tongue. But have you ever seen a guy like that who is ready and able to back up his wondrous flow of words with action? You bet you haven't, and what's more, you never will. Well, some blowhards are sort of harmless. They just go around dispelling hot air, and the worst thing they do is make a nuisance of themselves. But some of them get all loaded up with hot air about people. When they start spouting their phony ideas of race prejudice and bigotry, well, then you kind of find yourself counting to 10 to keep from letting them have a sock right in the nose. But violence never does any good with characters of that kind. You got to be able to out-talk them, with facts, I mean. Real solid facts that prove all men are created equal, and one man is as good as another. And what's even more important, you've got to live that kind of talk. That's brotherhood. And that's what makes for peace. You see, when you treat everyone like a regular Joe, no matter what the color of his skin or the way he worships God, then you're living brotherhood. You can do it in little ways. If you're scouting a good baseball player for your team, don't look at his skin color. Look at his throwing arm. And if you need a new pitcher, don't ask his religion. Ask to see him sizzle a curve across the plate. That's the way you can show you really believe in brotherhood. Not by talking. No, not by talking. By doing, and by living up to brotherhood in every way, every day.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. Batman and Robin made their way into Biggie Conroy's house by way of a balcony, only to be surprised by 3 of Conroy's armed henchmen. Now, as they stand at gunpoint, one of the men says,
Just make one move, you guys, and you get plugged. Red, Nick, tie him up.
Uh-oh. What do we do, Batman?
What can we do, Robin? With that cannon pointed at us.
As Batman and Robin stand helplessly, Clark Kent is equally helpless in another room of the house, where he has been placed on a couch again by Biggie Conroy, Slick Bailey, and Chopin, the skinny piano player. His eyes closed, feigning unconsciousness. Kent is unaware of Batman and Robin's predicament, but he is deeply aware of his own, as Biggie Conroy stands over him, a large knife in his hand.
What are you going to do with the knife, Biggie?
I'm going to cut the bandages off our pal here, Chopin.
Cut the bandage. Well, what for?
Don't you get it, Slick? Kent's supposed to have been seriously injured in that auto accident, see? He's all bandaged up like a mummy.
Well, yeah, but...
I think the accident was a phony. The kid is into thinking he ain't Superman. You see, I figure he ain't hurt at all.
Oh, I get it. You're going to cut the bandages off, and if he ain't hurt...
Right. We'll know he's faking.
and is really Superman.
Good idea.
Well, here goes.
Leaning forward, Biggie Conroy begins to slash the heavy bandages from Clark Kent, who, powerless to move without revealing that he is Superman, knows that in another moment his great secret will be known to his enemies. What can Kent do? And what of Batman and Robin in great danger in another room of the racketeer's house? The moment was never more tense, fellows and girls. So don't fail to be with us tomorrow, same time, same station, when we bring you the thrilling, smashing climax of The Mystery of the Stolen Costume on The Adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comics magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time. This program came from New York. Stay tuned to your mutual station for Captain Midnight, which follows in just a moment. And right after Captain Midnight, you will hear Tom Mix and his Ralston Straight Shooters. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
It's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with amazing physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. Today, as Biggie Conroy, the racket boss, begins to slash the bandages from Clark Kent, who pretends to be seriously injured and unconscious, Kent, within his own mind, acknowledges defeat.
He'll have my bandages all removed. Then he'll see I wasn't even scratched in that accident, and he'll know I'm Superman. What if I try to stop him? He'll know it anyhow. So there's nothing I can do. Nothing. My double identity will no longer be a secret.
Well, boys and girls, you know the other day...
Okay, Bud, don't move. I got a little automatic pointing at your back.
At my back?
You heard me.
But we're on the air. You can't interrupt a program like this.
No. Doing it, ain't I?
What do you want?
I want you to say a few things. Just like I tell you.
All right. What should I say?
Say, the announcer on this program is a Jake.
What? I certainly will not say that.
I got a gun here that says you will.
Okay. The announcer on this program is a jerk.
Good. Now say, but we forgive him because he was born that way.
But we forgive him because he was born that way.
Okay, now turn around slow and take a look. But remember, there's a gun in your back, so no false moves.
All right. Why, holy smokes, it's Superman!
April Fool.
Oh, brother. Oh, I fell for that one.
Well, don't feel too badly, Bob. Lots of us fell for April Fool tricks today, so you're just one of the mob.
Boy, I certainly am.
And after all, Bob, April Fool jokes are lots of fun and no harm, so you can just laugh them off. But you know, gang, it's not so funny to be an April Fool all year long. It's not so funny to fall for traps and phony stories that aren't meant to be jokes. For instance, there are always those smart Alecks who go around trying to trick us into believing that people of one race or religion are better than those of another. Fall for that baloney, and, brother, you'll be the fool of the year. So don't ever fall for the sucker bait that says that one man is better than another because of the color of his skin or the way he worships God. That would make you an April Fool all year long.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Knowing that certain criminals suspected he was Superman, Clark Kent tried to throw them off the track by pretending to be seriously injured in an automobile accident. But Biggie Conroy, a big-time racket boss, was suspicious. While Kent lay swathed in bandages, pretending to be unconscious, Conroy had him seized and brought to his house.
Realizing that if he fought or even moved, he would betray his identity, Kent could only lie still, his eyes closed, while Conroy, preparing to cut away Kent's bandages, said to his henchman,
"If Kent is all banged up, we'll know he ain't Superman. But if he ain't hurt, then we'll know for sure he is Superman."
Meanwhile, Kent's friends, the famous Batman and Robin, having traced him to Conroy's house, knocked out 2 of the racketeers' guards and climbed to an upstairs balcony. But as they entered the house, 3 other men armed with guns surprised them. Now, while Biggie Conroy begins to slash away Kent's bandages, we find Batman and Robin standing at bay in an upstairs room as a burly man pointing a gun at the dynamic duo directs his 2 companions to use their upraised blackjacks.
Knock 'em cold. Chuck them and Biggie's gun downstairs and tell us what to do.
Here they come, Batman. What'll we do?
Just take your cue from me, chum. I'll take care of the big guy, get you. And give it to this jet.
Okay, Robin.
Yeah, man.
Get to work.
Hey, wait, Biggie. What's that noise upstairs?
I don't know. Superman, go see what it is.
Yeah,
yo, okay, Piggy.
There's a couple of the boys got in a fight. It's over now. Go ahead, Biggie. Get the rest of the bandages off Kent.
Okay, Slick, I just about got him off.
Hey, Biggie. Biggie. Now, what's the matter?
2 guys coming down the stairs. They got on costumes and masks.
Come on, Robin. Let's take these characters.
I'm right with you,
Holy
Batman.
smokes, Batman and Robin.
Where's my gun? Digger.
Well, Mr. Biggie, haven't we met before?
You come to Papa, eh, kid?
Look out, Robin. The big guy has a gun.
As Biggie Conroy levels his gun at Batman and more of his followers pour into the room, Clark Kent, forgotten for a moment, reaches to a table behind his head, grabs a heavy ashtray, and hurls it toward the ceiling where it strikes the light fixture, shatters it, and plunges the room into darkness.
Saved by the bell. Keep hustling, Robin.
Sure, Bobby. I can't see these mugs, but I can hit them.
Get Batman and Robin. Finish them.
As the fight rages furiously, blindly in the darkness, Kent, still wrapped in bandages, bounds from the couch and wades into the fray. Able to see clearly in the dark, he flashes about the room, smacking Biggie Conroy and his henchmen to the floor like 10 pins, where they spin from the shattering force of Superman's blows, and then lie still. Only Kent and Batman remain standing. Casting a quick look about him, Kent strides to a table in the corner where a lamp still stands erect, turns a switch, sends a soft glow of light into the room.
What? Kent.
Yes, you got here in the nick of time, Batman.
You mean you did? I wondered what made all these guys drop so fast. I knew Robin and I couldn't. Hey, wait. What happened to Robin?
He's right here. Knocked out for a moment, but he'll be all right.
You sure?
Yes. Now, listen, chum.
Oh,
what
wait,
we got...
your bandages are slashed. Conroy find out?
No, he didn't. But he was just going to when you and Robin showed up. Now, listen. We'll tie these lads up, and then you phone for the police. Tell them they'll find Dr. Bushmill locked in a room in the cellar.
Dr. Asa Bushmill?
Yes, Conroy abducted him, as I figured. He's all right. But Conroy and his playmates will go to jail for life if they manage to beat the chair.
Great. They'll never be able to prove you're Superman then, even if they still suspect you.
Right. Okay, let's get busy with your rope, Batman. I want to be back on that couch apparently dead to the world when Biggie Conroy wakes up and the police get here.
Oh, Robin's coming too. Now, better hop back onto your couch, Clark. He and I'll finish this little laundry.
Oh, my head. Batman.
Birdie's singing a nice song, sonny boy.
You're not kidding. Christopher Columbus. Don't tell me you called off all these gorillas by yourself.
Well, I had a little help.
You mean me? Shucks, the joint was jumping when I passed out of the picture. Well, look, Batman, you don't know your own strength.
Okay, cut the comedy, Robin. We've got things to do. Pick up the phone and call Inspector Henderson and tell him to roll his biggest Black Maria down here.
Oh, okay, Batman. Hey, Clark.
Give the show away by that. Robin made that crack about me.
I almost did, Batman.
Oh, headquarters? Let me with Inspector Henderson. Well, I want to report that Batman and Robin have a load of Easter presents.
Happily, Clark Kent, Batman, and Robin wait for the police to arrive and start Biggie Conroy and his followers on their way to the penitentiary, or perhaps to the electric chair. And now Superman's long ordeal is over, and for the first time in weeks he dares to relax. But if he were aware of a scene that is taking place at this very moment, hardly a mile and a half away, he would spring into action with all the speed and power at his command. For a new threat already spawned is menacing the man of steel and those closest to him. A cunning, treacherous, deadly threat. The type that strikes to the heart in the dark and leaves no sign. We'll be back in a moment to learn more of this, so keep listening.
Gang, I bet there's hardly one of you who doesn't know that Benny Goodman is the proud owner of the royal title, King of Swing. Yes, sir, his hot clarinet has been sizzling over the airwaves and jukeboxes for the past 15 years, during which time he's held on to the top spot. Why, some of the old Goodman records are collector's items today. They're hard to get, and everybody wants them. Especially valuable to swing fans are the records made by the famous Benny Goodman Sextet. Those 6 men made swing history when they first started playing together. Benny on his clarinet, Gene Krupp on the drums, Lionel Hampton on the vibraphone, Teddy Wilson on the piano, Charlie Christian on the guitar, and Artie Bernstein on the bass. When those fellows played together, the joint really rocked. Yes, Benny Goodman always hired the men who were tops in their field, the best pianists and drummers and trumpeters in the business. But when it came to the color of their skin, the religion they followed, the country their parents had come from, the King of Swing didn't give a rap for those things. No, it was music, and music alone he cared about. And music knows no racial or religious difference. When he finally broke up his sextet, expecting to retire, the Negro members, Teddy Wilson and Lionel Hampton, went on to form their own top-notch band. And so did Gene Krupp. Now, Benny Goodman has formed a new band for himself, and as usual, he picked his men on the basis of talent and talent alone. He knows that's the way men make good music together. In fact, in that way, men can work together in all fields of endeavor to make the most of the best in peace.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. In an untidy little office in a small soda bottling factory, 2 heavy-set men who bear a strong family resemblance sit at identical desks. They are in their middle 30s and have pale, beefy faces, tight lips, and pale eyes. Behind them, at the dirty window, another man sits on a case of empty soda bottles. A boy of about 13, who resembles the 2 men at the desks, stands between them as he is being questioned.
Go on, tell us just what happened, Ralphie.
Well, I went to see the 2 kids first. I told them what you said, that they better not show up on Saturday or they'd be sorry.
So, what did they do?
Just a minute, George. You didn't tell them we said that, did you, Ralphie?
Of course not, Dad. I said I was speaking for myself and all the other kids.
Good. What did they say?
Well, they said they had just as much right as anybody else to be there, and to be in on the competition, too. And they were gonna be there.
Oh, they said that, eh?
We'll fix their hides, a dirty little...
Now, take it easy, George.
No, John, you heard what Ralphie said. Well, I say we go to those kids' houses and teach them a lesson. Show them they ain't got no right to mix with our kind. What do you say, Henry?
Well, I want to hear what John says.
I don't care what he says. I heard him.
Shut up, George. What did you do then, Ralphie?
Well, then I talked to Jim Olson.
Jim Olson?
Oh, he's the young Daily Planet reporter.
Uh-huh. And he's kind of in charge when the coach can't be there. Doggone him.
What's the matter?
What did he say?
He ran me off the field.
What? Ran you off?
Yeah. He said I was a rotten American, and I had a filthy mind. And he said if I showed up around there again, he might lose his temper and beat my ears down.
Oh, he did.
You hear that, John? He called Ralphie, your son, a rotten American. He stood up for those other dirty kids, and he threatened Ralphie. Are we going to stand for that?
No, George, we're not.
Now you're waking up. Let's go to work tonight.
Now, hold it, George. We're going to work, all right. But we're not going to stick our necks out. Now, I've got an idea how we can handle this safely.
Let's hear it, John. I think it's time something was done about those 2 kids, too.
And about this Jim Olson.
All right, now listen. We've given those 2 boys ample warning, but they wouldn't listen. So we're going to take care of them another way. To show all the others like them, we mean business.
Good.
And to show everybody else in Metropolis what it means to stand up for kids like that, we're going to take care of Jim Olson, too. What good?
His pale eyes cold as ice and his flat voice edged with hate, the man called John outlines a vicious plan to his companions. A plan which means great danger